They have been waiting in Cleveland, Ohio for this night for a long time. Excitement prevails in this usually troubled city. There is a capacity throng on hand in Municipal Stadium. Why? Monday night football, the battle of the unbeaten Dallas against Cleveland. And for the Dallas Cowboys, who make a habit of winning late, there is this kind of typical play. The flea flicker, and Roger the Dodger Staubach deep to Tony Hill, touchdown. But the Cleveland Browns have the underrated quarterback, Brian Sipe, who pulls out miracle victories. And he likes to throw to this man, the much-traveled Reggie Rucker, who has found a home and excellence here in Cleveland. On the ground, the Cowboys' principal weapon is the remarkable product of Johnny Majors and the Pittsburgh Panthers. Number 33. Look at him elude tacklers, cut back right across the field. But of course, Cleveland has a similar weapon, the little water bug from Oklahoma, Greg Pruitt. Now he's there, now he isn't. So on Monday Night Football, what hopes to be an exciting game. It's the Cleveland Browns against the Dallas Cowboys, 2 of 5 unbeaten teams in the league.
Cleveland Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. There is an air of anticipation, of electricity, as two of the NFL's unbeatens go against each other tonight. An anticipated crowd of 80,000 plus. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys against the Cleveland Browns. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Buick. For Riviera and the mid-size Century and Regal to the 1980s smaller Buicks like Skylark, you'll find very fine cars and very good thinking. And by Lanier Business Products, creators of the no-problem electronic typewriter. A typewriter that does more than just type.
There are the standings in the NFC East, and Dallas is up there alone and unbeaten, a half game ahead of the Eagles. But in what may be the strongest division in the NFL, the AFC Central, Cleveland, though unbeaten, is behind the mighty Steelers, who have won one game more than they. The noise here, as you can hear, is utterly deafening. I haven't seen this kind of excitement in this ballpark since 1948, when for the first time in 28 years, the Cleveland Indians became the world champions of baseball. The people in Cleveland believe in this Browns team, which has extricated 3 consecutive miracle victories in the late going. And of course, the history of the Dallas Cowboys this year is in much the same vein. Part of the great excitement in Cleveland has been through the acquisition of a superb defensive end who wears number 77, the name Lyle Alzado. The man who left football, fought an exhibition against Muhammad Ali earlier, but is back now with the Browns. Dan DeRue spoke to him earlier.
All right, a man of many talents. We're going to have a football game tonight. Things get rough. Might want him on my side. You had a boxing career this past off season. Talking to Lyle Alzado, the newest member of the Cleveland Browns. Were you serious about your boxing career?
Absolutely. Had an opportunity to fight Leon Spinks, and if I'd have done well, there would have been some big things in my future in boxing. So I had to look at it for the financial security part of it.
I got the impression, Lyle, that when you left Denver that you didn't want to play in Denver, and if you couldn't play football anywhere else, that you would have concentrated more on your boxing. Was that correct?
Absolutely. I would have gone to boxing. I had some, like as I mentioned before, some great offers, and I had to look into it. You know, my family counts on me, and the security factor was too great for me to pass up.
What happened in Denver?
Well, I had a contract dispute with somebody there, and I wasn't told the truth, so I had to get out. I felt it was time for me to leave Denver, and I have no hard feelings with Coach Miller or any of the assistant coaches, all the players there, my teammates. I love them all, and I'm glad to see they're doing very well.
Got a little Bronco mania in the air tonight here in Cleveland. So hope we have a good ball game, and thank you, Lyle.
Thank you.
Lyle Alzado. And meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys are concerned about their own defensive left-end spot. That was where Ed Too Tall Jones used to operate. He went into boxing. He's still in boxing. Larry Cole will open there tonight. Dave Stalls will replace a retired Jethro Pugh on the left side, but they've given up a lot of yardage on the ground. They gave up over 200 yards to the Cardinals. They did the same to the Chicago Bears only a week ago. There is concern on the part of the Dallas Cowboys, and nevertheless, they're 3-0, and that's where they like to be, undefeated. Two fine football teams coming your way tonight. It should be a great game, so stick around with us. There's excitement in the air tonight here in Cleveland. And quickly, since we have a moment for the kickoff, our apologies to Molly Gravel, the wife of Gordon Gravel. Last week, the Giants against Washington, we were given misinformation. Gordon Gravel was given a number activated that day that he did not wear, and that number did not have a very good night. So for Molly and Gordon, our apologies. Cleveland has won the toss. You're looking at the Dallas huddle now. Here's Cleveland set to kick off, and Don mentioned earlier, he said, boy, there are some tight feelings out there tonight. The Cleveland Browns playing the Dallas Cowboys. They've had some great games over the years, and now both of them coming in tonight undefeated. Undefeated Cleveland with a total of 9 points against their 3 opponents, while the Cowboys have beaten 3 opponents by a total of 13. Okay. Rafael Seption will kick off. A dangerous return man, number 89. Keith Wright is deep, along with Randy Ricks, number 24. Wright, 89. We're underway. Seption hits a low, and it'll be Keith Wright at his goal line. Keith Wright gets it out in good field position for the Cleveland Browns. He leads the AFC in punt returns. You see he can also return the kickoff. There is the offensive unit. The danger is Greg Pruitt. He is a loosey, slippery, much like the running of Tony Dorsett for the Dallas Cowboys. There's an offensive line that does a good job. Not great names in there, but they do a good job in protecting their quarterback, Brian Sight. Brian Sight passing over a little over 52% on the year, 6 touchdowns. Not a long arm, but he doesn't care much about that. He doesn't want to hear about it. He says, I can throw it far enough. Greg Pruitt is 34. 43 is Mike Pruitt. Sight on 1st and 10. Goes out, intended for Greg Pruitt, incomplete. Defensively, let's meet the Dallas Cowboys. We told you about the troubles over on the left side with the retirements of Ed Too Tall Jones and Jethro Pugh. Dave Stalls is a tackle, number 65. Larry Cole at 63. Bruce Thornton will see a lot of action, number 77, as we look at the linebackers. The cornerbacks, Benny Barnes and Aaron Kyle, who had early preseason troubles with ankles and assorted leg problems, are healthy for the Cowboys. 2nd down and 10. Reggie Rucker is split to the right. Fine receiver for Brian Sight. Dave Logan, a 4th-year man from Colorado, split out to the left. He wears number 85. Rucker in motion, wearing number 33. And there's a bobble ball from the center. Brian Sight comes up with it and moves out close to the line of scrimmage as Randy White, a very quick and nimble defensive right tackle, moves over there to pounce on Sight. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
I think Mr. Sight might realize there's a full house here tonight. What do you think?
If he doesn't, he's not alive.
It really has been an exciting couple of days here because the whole town has really turned out in Super Bowl fashion. And Brian says, I'm going to show these folks I can win the big game.
Cowboys set in their anticipated pass defense. That means Bruce Thornton, 77, comes in there. Out comes Larry Cole. Cleo Miller, number 30, comes in the backfield for Cleveland on 3rd down and 9. Sight back and looking. Gets the time. Fires over the middle. This is Greg Pruitt. All right. Greg Pruitt, a nifty receiver coming out of that backfield, as well as a gifted runner as a 1st down for Cleveland. 36-yard line of Dallas.
And of course, you'll be, as we look at it again from the end zone, you'll be seeing this all night. A familiar tactic of Sight working so well with the little water bug, Don.
Well, there was, again, Dallas's prevent defense, and Pruitt really is a good receiver. Came back on the outside. He had Aaron Mitchell, kind of a newcomer back there, trying to trail him, and old Greg made a big game. 1-on-1.
Aaron Mitchell, a rookie from Las Vegas, the University of Nevada out there. And Greg Pruitt has the 1st down for Cleveland. 36-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. This is Mike Pruitt, the fullback. It's inside the 35 for a gain of a long yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Mike Pruitt, of course, went to Purdue. He's been around 4 years. Greg Pruitt went to Oklahoma. He's been around 7. They reversed their numbers. Greg Pruitt 34, Mike Pruitt is 43.
The reason this should be a good, exciting game is both teams have offense. We were lacking in that a week ago. It should not be the case tonight. The Browns can move the ball against anybody.
Ozzie Newsome, their tight end, is bottom of your screen to the right, and here comes Reggie Rucker in motion. 2 dangerous receivers. Sight up on top. Goes to Rucker. Rucker has the ball short of the first down, or he may have it. He's close to it at the 26-yard line. Benny Barnes covering.
All right, as you look at Rucker isolated, the question arises, number 33. Take the play, Don, then I'll continue.
Well, you started. You go ahead. I'm going to pick it up later.
Well, Reggie Rucker was a reject. He had started with the Cowboys. He had been with the Giants. He had been with the Patriots. What does a coach mean to a ball club? Well, Sam Rutigliano, 16, 17 years an assistant coach, now a head coach, his dream being fulfilled. Took Rucker, and he made a full-fledged professional out of him. Gave him the confidence he needed. And so Rucker is now a key target in the Cleveland offense.
Indeed he did. He had him up in New England. He recognized the talent that is now Reggie Rucker's. You saw the first down indication by our referee, Cal Laporte. Getting the call is Greg Pruitt. And he tries to find the opening, finds a little gap in there, gets a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8, getting close to the 23-yard line. Had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons in 75, 76, and 77. Did Greg Pruitt last year. A lot of trouble with a bruise on his leg. Came back, then had further problems. And still had a big year with 960 yards rushing. 2nd down and 8. The ball close to the 23. Just underway from Cleveland. Sight throws it away as Rucker collides with Benny Barnes downfield. No flags. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Rucker immediately claimed interference, but in point of fact, here, Don, why don't you run back the collision?
Run back the collision. I think basically what it was is a little slip back in there. You'll see that it just slipped in and fell to him, so it was an obvious accident on both guys' parts, so no interference it was called.
But claim it anyway. Remember the Swan Barnes altercation? Key play in the last Super Bowl?
3rd down and 8. Calvin Hill comes in on the passing situation for Cleveland, a former Dallas Cowboy, 1,000-yard rusher there. A very heady player and a good receiver. He wears 35. Going for Logan. He's open. He's got a touchdown. Dave Logan, a gifted receiver, beat Aaron Kyle in the corner. And right on target was Brian Sight.
Now this is Monday Night Football. Dave Logan, the man who with 14 seconds and no timeouts remaining as we look at it again from the end zone. Caught one from Sight and set up the tying field goal against the Jets. Then the Browns won in overtime. This is a great all-around athlete time.
It really is. Cleveland picking up a safety blitz on the part of the Dallas Cowboys. Gave Sight the time. Logan with a great move on Aaron Kyle. Cleveland's on the scoreboard. Cockroft.
Missed it. I don't believe that.
So Sight and Dave Logan have put the Cleveland Browns on the scoreboard, and they can be oh so costly misconversions. A great athlete from the University of Colorado. He could have played pro basketball. He could have played baseball. He was drafted by Kansas City, and he just puts Cleveland on the scoreboard. Dave Logan. Cockroft. Hurried his conversion attempt, it appeared. So Cleveland only got 6. So Cockroft will kick off. Deep is Ron Springs. Number 20, number 81 is Steve Wilson, a rookie from Howard. And a speedy rookie he is. But this will be Ron Springs from his 10-yard line. And Cleveland hustling down, inspired by that quick early lead. And Dallas will have the ball at the 20-yard line. Curtis Weathers, a rookie from Mississippi, down there defensively as we look at Tom Landry in the 4th game of his 20th season. What a remarkable coaching performance he has come through. The only coach the Cowboys have ever had.
He can become the 4th winningest coach as you look at the graphic on the Cleveland scoring drive in history this year. Tom Landry behind Hallis, Lambeau, and Shula. Paul Brown is presently 4th.
For the Cowboys, 35, Scott Laidlaw. A surprise is in there for Robert Newhouse, is one setback. Tony Dorsett, the other, number 33. And this is Laidlaw, who had a fairly good day against the Bears last week. The wide receivers, Drew Pearson, along with Tony Hill, and dangerous they are. A lot of speed. Tony Hill having a great year, and one of these days, Drew Pearson, because of Tony Hill, is going to come through with a big day. Billy Joe Dupree, the tight end, dangerous receiver. You saw the offensive line. The messenger will be sent in with the left guard, Herb Scott and Burton Wallace, or the tight ends, Doug Cosby and Billy Joe Dupree. There was a gain of 6 by Laidlaw. Is second down and 4. Ball at the 22-yard line. Sawback, Dorsett, and down goes Dorsett. A hustling Cleveland defense led by Mickey Sims and Clarence Scott up there from the tight safety position. And there is that front four. Not big names, but they are very steady players. The safety man, Oliver Davis, in on that stop, along with Clarence Scott. Clarence Scott, who played the corner for Cleveland up until this year. Good tackler. His speed might be a little suspect. There was a loss to the 24-yard line. It's third down and 7. Preston Pearson comes in, number 26. You know about him if you follow the Cowboys. A dangerous receiver. Out of the shotgun. Staubach with a lot of time. And in and out of the hands of Ron Springs. It'll be fourth down. The crowd loves it.
Well covered. There was Ricky Jones coming over there. Nickel defense. Actually, it was a 4-man line with the guys back on the backside. I think it's really important that to this game that Cleveland was able to stop Dallas on their first drive. They got the opening kickoff, took it down. I think a lot of cities around the country, stadiums affect home teams to different degrees. This one here in Cleveland, I think, gives the home team a bigger boost, or as big as any stadium I've ever been in.
Keith Wright, number 1 in the AFC, returning punts. Danny White will punt. Backup quarterback for Dallas. He has not taken a snap since he broke his thumb in preseason, but he can pass, and he ripples a beauty one. Wright takes it at the 26-yard line. And Wright back to the 38-yard line where he's pounced on by the Cowboys. So Cleveland once again has good field position following a 50-yard Danny White punt and a nice return by Wright. Well, I don't know about you, Howard. The toughest part for Dandy and myself was getting out of here in one piece.
They're somewhat rabid here, aren't they? Ooh.
Noise really affect you here, Dandy, when you quarterback?
Yeah, it really does. I think for a lot of reasons. The way the stadium is built, it's a lot of echo down there, so it's kind of hard. You get a good home crowd behind you, and it's got to help.
Cleveland with a 6-0 lead. They scored in their first possession. They have a 1st and 10 just inside the 39-yard line. Sight. They're going to have an aerial show tonight. You can see it brewing. Ozzie Newsome.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Newsome high steps up, and he's out of bounds at close to the 46-yard line, short of the first down by about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. It was Cliff Harris moving over there, and Newsome, a great receiver, and also Don, a heads-up receiver.
I think one of the difficult things that Dallas is having to do this year is to establish a pass rush. You see Larry Cole's pretty well tied up there at the inside. Ozzie Newsome was the safety valve, not really intended in that pattern. Sight rolled out, picked him up. That one is just to keep you from not losing anything and helps your percentage, all those sort of wonderful things. It's just there. He's going to block for a little while and then slide out in the open. Hard to cover that pattern because tied up too long on the line.
Side 4 of 6 for 67 yards. Looking over a 2nd down. A long 3, the ball at the 46-yard line. The toss goes to Mike Pruitt, the fullback, and he is upended there by Cliff Harris, short of the first down by about a yard. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Really, Bob Brunick that came over. Frank gave him that first big shot. He got out of the big middle linebacker. Cliff was a real headhunter, but guy with Brunick's size and speed put the stop on him first. Cliff came in, knocked it away, and held him up short.
Thing to observe, there's Brunick, about whom Dunn was just talking about. Sipe is the way he diversifies his receivers. Frank told you he's 4 out of 6. 4 different receivers. Pruitt, Rucker, Logan, and then that last one, of course, Newsome.
Short yardage set by the Cleveland Browns. The motion man is Adams. Sight on 3rd and 1. Looking for Greg Pruitt, and he was picked up by the Cowboys. He's going deep to Newsome. Ozzie Newsome from Cliff Harris, touchdown, and Brian Sipe did that last week against Baltimore, hit Logan for a key touchdown. He's done it again.
Look at that, Newsome. He was a wide receiver. They didn't think he could block well enough to play tight end. He is still not an exceptional block. Then there were those who said he didn't have the speed of 4.840. He's the fastest 4.840 you'll ever see. And that underrated quarterback sight moves a football team. Don?
Fairly simple play, but you see Harvey Martin is the only guy that really breaks through. Dallas has not had a good pass rush tonight, nor the earlier 3 ball games. Ball was well thrown. Ozzie Newsome does have good speed. He also has about 4 inches height on Cliff Harris, and that ball was right in there, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Yes, it was.
This time, Cockroft drills it through the uprights, and Cleveland, with 9:32 remaining in the first quarter, has a 13-0 lead.
He's pretty well blocked up on the line by Guy Brown, who's a good tough linebacker. But if we had one of those hang time clocks on it, you see he had about 5 or 6 seconds to throw it off. Busted plays oftentimes do score. Cliff is right there. Ball went right between his hands, and Ozzie's right on top.
Right on. You know what they say about Sipe, he can't throw deep. Well, he just hung that one up there for about 48, 50 yards. Ozzie Newsome, he likes it, and we'll be right back. Sam Rutigliano, in his second season as head coach of the Cleveland Browns, kind of keeps this game in perspective. Quite a man.
He really is a nice guy.
Don Cockroft will kick off. Ron Springs is deep for Dallas, number 20, as is Steve Wilson, number 81. Cockroft doesn't kick it deep, hangs it high, and this will be Springs. Springs pounded out at the 28-yard line. Curtis Weathers again, and John Smith down there defensively for Cleveland. And Dallas has had one possession. They're down 13-0. The Cleveland Browns, in that one possession, stopped the Cowboys, the #1 offensive team in the NFL, after 3 games, forced them to punt. They came right back and hung up another touchdown.
That's the way they feel about him in this town. It's alive tonight.
Over 80,000. President Gerald Ford sitting right next to us in our booth watching the game. Laidlaw stays in there, number 35. Billy Joe Dupree, the tight end, on an end around, and down goes Billy Joe Dupree, and it was Jerry Shirk, a rejuvenated Jerry Shirk, who came back from knee surgery a year ago, was about 75% of what he had been when he was the MVP in the league in '75, and this year he's even better.
Rejuvenated is the word. Jerry Shirk, a rookie in the very first Monday Night Football game ever. Dandy and I did that one out of Oklahoma State, and the Jets picked on him all night. Randy Rasmussen chewed him up, but he came on to become all-league, and he's one of the best there is at what he does.
Second down, about 11. Loss of a little more than a yard. That's Doug Cosby, the rookie from Santa Clara, in motion. 84. Roger back looking, and he fires Cosby out at the 34-yard line, short of a first down by about 5. It'll be 3rd and 5. Clarence Scott defensively for Cleveland.
We told you about Cosby in the Hall of Fame game. Remember, Gil Brandt had touted him highly to us, the young man from Santa Clara. Great hand.
Lyle Alzado is the shaken-up Cleveland Brown. He's up now. Lyle Alzado working mostly against Pat Donovan tonight. That's Donovan and Alzado getting it on right there.
Oh, there you go, right there. It fell into him. That's where they get it. That was Hubert Scott that rolled in on Alzado's leg as he was being blocked by Donovan. And that's really how you can get hurt. That's gets that old knee, you got all your weight on your legs, and he falls at it. Walked off. That's a good sign.
Jack Gregory, reacquired by the Browns before the start of the season after retiring from the Giants, is in the lineup replacing Alzado. Gregory wears number 81. 3rd down, 5 out of the shotgun. Staubach fires, picked off by Tom Garden, and he's going to hang up another one.
There goes Tom Garden out of Michigan.
He read that beautifully. He led the league last year in interceptions with 10, set a Browns record, and he's picked off another one, moved into the end zone, and Cleveland has shocked the Cowboys.
One of the most intelligent men in the National Football League, Tom Garden, as Frank said, led the league last year in interceptions with 10. A great reader. Spent last evening with him, in fact. Did his local radio show, which he has here with him, and predicted that he would pick one off, and maybe for a TD, and he just did. What a night so far for Cleveland.
I'm almost speechless.
Don Cockroft. Busy going for Cockroft here in the opening minutes of the first quarter. With 7:55 remaining in the first quarter. Cleveland Browns have extended their lead to 20-0 over the Cowboys. Look at it again. He read it all the way, Don.
Frank, I don't know if they're doing anything differently or not on defense. You'll see that Roger threw the ball a little quick trying to hit Pearson in there, and Darden, you're right, was just right in the right position, so they read something. They've been looking at a lot of film. They know what's going on. How about that one, sports fan?
There's Tom here out of Michigan.
Is this going to be another one of those hard nights for me?
The interesting thing is he wears specs, you know. Eyes aren't that good, except he takes them off during the game, and the eyes are good because there are no contact lenses in there. There's Alzado. They're working him over. Well, he's a fighter, Don.
Yes. It looks like they might have tried to protect against a little hyperextended knee there. So they're wrapping that thing.
I'll remind you again, Dallas came in to this game tonight leading the NFL in offense. They have not had much offense thus far.
I'm glad you reminded me of that, Frank, because I'd almost forgotten it myself, and I was sitting right here watching. 6 plays they've had.
Partisan crowd, of course, here at a jam-packed Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Don Cockcroft will kick off. Steve Wilson and Ron Springs are back there once again. They've been making that their home here in the first quarter. Ron Springs out of Ohio State. He finds a little opening, and this time Dallas will have better field position up to their 38-yard line. As I mentioned before, there is one of the great centers at the University of Michigan. President Gerald R. Ford.
He's with Art Modell, the president of the Cleveland Indians, the principal owner. President Ford has to be feeling pretty good about a former Wolverine with that interception and the touchdown.
It's quite a scare. Don and I had a few runs out of Vail with him the past couple of years.
Clear the hill.
Oh, about half the Secret Service, I think. On 1st and 10, this is Dorsett for the Cowboys. Dorsett slips one tackle, but down he goes. He got away from Clay Matthews and was able to eke out a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
You see Cleveland gang tackle on that one. 22, Clarence Scott. 27, Tom Dawden. They're all over the place. And young Clay Matthews, 57. Out of USC, Frank's alma mater, a fine young linebacker. They got people here, and they're putting it together.
Lyle Alzado, we are informed, will be back. At the moment, it's number 81, Jack Gregory, bottom of your screen, in there defensively for Alzado. But he alternates during the course of a regular game in any event. On 2nd and 8, Staubach, Tony Hill. Complete, short of the first down at the 45-yard line. And Hill got pounded as he went out of bounds, hit there by Oliver Davis. It'll be 3rd down and 3 for Dallas. And they'd like to get their initial first down of the first quarter.
There's been a tendency by some, Danny, to underrate the Cleveland secondary. But you just saw Oliver Davis with a big hit. The prior play, Scott and Dawden. Dawden with the intercept. Oliver Davis made the key intercept off Matt Robinson in the Jets game that produced the Cockcroft game-winning field goal. I don't see that weakness, Frank.
It's amazing how good they get when they get a pass rush. 3rd and 3. Cowboys at their 45-yard line. Going to Laidlaw. Laidlaw has it at midfield, and he has a Dallas first down. Their initial first down of the ball game. It'll be at the 48-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Ron Bolton in there defensively for Cleveland as we got another sky-high view of a jam-packed stadium. Hard on.
That's right. All right. Got us a good first down in there.
Well, they got that straight.
Yeah.
Tell you, that was a good hold by Laidlaw because he was hit by Bolton. Bolton once a Patriot, another one who's come on here for Cleveland.
Ball just short of the 48-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Drew Pearson, 88 in motion. Roger floods back to the left, tries to get single coverage. He's got it. There you go. That's Tony Hill, and we're going to have a ball game tonight, so don't go away. Tony Hill scores once again his 4th of the year, and he's having a super season, Don.
You can count on it. Well, when you see this on the replay, and you'll see what Tony Hill did. Watch it from the end zone, Don.
Little slight roll. You see him hiding there behind Fitzgerald, the center. Quick little fake one way. Yeah, on the other side, which we really didn't quite see. Hill gave him an outside fake, moved right down the middle, and had him beat by about 5 or 6 yards. This is a guy that, of course, Landry's been talking about since he's been there. He thinks he's one of the most unique receivers he's ever seen come into the league, based on basically one talent, the ability to adjust under a long a long ball. He has that ability to move like that center fielder.
Rafael Septian on for the conversion for Dallas.
Well,
and unlike Cockcroft, Septian puts his first attempt through the crossbars. 20-7. Cleveland over Dallas, but you better hang around.
You better.
Also, you'll be seeing Central Michigan and against Florida State, or rather Florida State against Virginia, and Virginia Tech against Western Louisiana against Arkansas State. Regional college football. Excitement, we've got it here tonight in Cleveland. Septian kicks off. Keith Wright is deep. He got the Browns good field position on the opening kickoff of the game. And he finds another gap and gets out over the 25 to the 27-yard line.
He is a good little kick returner.
He really is.
Get out of Merced, Texas, as a matter of fact, via Memphis State. He says, everywhere I've been, they've been telling me I'm too small to play. And he keeps playing right along. Comes from a real sports family. He likes that kickoff and punt return.
Got him high. Well, they got him in the 5th round a year ago, and he has really given them a new dimension.
Well, I tell you, he got away from 52. Bob Shaw, that special team who was zooming in on him, the #1 draft choice out of Tennessee.
Cleveland, they scored on each possession. Sight, puts Rucker in motion. And off Greg Pruitt, and Greg Pruitt piled up after a pickup of a couple of yards, giving 3 at the 30-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 7. Bob Bruning, Randy White in there defensively with Dallas.
Sandy, this should be an interesting series. Let's see if Sipe starts to try to play it cozy or if he continues to throw the football, because Dallas can get back as quickly as we just saw.
I think that's true. I think it's also true. A team usually comes into a game with a few plays that they really feel very confident they're going to work. And obviously they had some different kind of plays they threw them, and they did work. Let's see if they got some more. And here's one right here.
Greg Pruitt tries to cut back, and down goes Greg Pruitt. Good defensive out there for, I think it was D.D. Lewis.
Yeah, it was. D.D.'s really having
with
a
Harvey
good year.
Martin. D.D.'s having a super year.
Yeah, D.D. really is doing a good job. He's got more experience than the linebackers in there, and he really is having a good one.
He has a way of being where the ball is. Look at that crowd as we take a panoramic view through the cameras under the directorial aegis of Chet Ford.
I remember.
He would have been better if he were Fred. Because Pete Campese.
3rd down, 7. Dallas set, looking for the pass. They're going to get it. Sight sends all of his backs out and overthrows Cleo Miller, and now we are going to see Cleveland punting for the first time tonight. That'll bring out Johnny Evans.
Still didn't get a real good pass rush that time, Frank. They usually double Randy White in the middle there. Harvey Martin goes to the outside. His best rush is to the outside. So far, Stalls and Coles on the other side have not really been able to put that good rush together. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys don't try to blitz a little bit more as the game goes on. Bring those linebackers in, help them get a better pass rush.
You saw Tony Hill waiting for Dallas at his 32-yard line. Johnny Evans leading the NFL in punting after 3 games with a 45.8-yard average. And just when you say it, he gets one off the side of his foot. But it does take a bit of a Cleveland bounce, but Dallas is going to have good field position. They're going to be starting their series from their own 37-yard line. Roger talking it over with Landry, and you know that getting that one big bomb has got to give added life to Dallas.
I think Tom always said, this has happened several times to him before. He just keeps emphasizing, I'm sure what other coaches do too, stick with what we were planning to do. It still's going to be good. Stick with what you're planning to do. Go back out and do it. And since he's calling the plays, I imagine he can do it better as well as anybody.
On that touchdown play, Ron Bolton was suckered, came up, left Charlie Hall all alone to cover Tony Hill. No contest. He was 15 yards off him.
Lyle Alzado back in there defensively for Denver. Tony Dorsett turns over the left side, gets across the 40-yard line, out close to the 43-yard line. A gain of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5, and Clay Matthews in on the stop. We have no prior information as to why Robert Newhouse is not going for the Cowboys tonight. We have not seen him tonight. It's been Scott Laidlaw. What area code, though?
That's funny, isn't it? I like that.
Jay Saldy in now, number 87 for the Cowboys. Can play tight end or flanker. This is Laidlaw. And Laidlaw short of the first down at the 46-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Dick Ambrose defensively for Cleveland, number 52, the middle linebacker. And he's a good middle linebacker, a 12th round draft pick. They got him at 75, and he's, you don't do a lot of reading about him, but he is just steady. He's always there, always around the ball.
I think an indication of how good he is they've got a number 1 draft choice that's trying to knock on the door, and he can't get in. That's Robert Stonewall Jackson, and he is really big.
Rich Dimmler comes in defensively for Cleveland, number 92. Cleveland anticipating the run. They get it. And Dallas gets the first down at midfield as Scott Laidlaw follows Tom Rafferty and Jim Cooper on the right side. Charlie Hall defensively for Cleveland.
Now, don't you get a sense, Gipper, of Dallas purposefully going to work, playing exactly as Don said, according to their game plan? And that's what that big bomb for the first Dallas touchdown meant. It meant the game getting back to normalcy for the Cowboys.
Kind of sense a little quiet has kind of settled over the stadium here just for a moment. So
realization that this Dallas team is too big to be run out of the ballpark and too good.
Ball right at midfield. Staubach to the air. Tony Dorsett has it. And a nifty little move, and he's close to another Dallas first down at the 40-yard line. Clay Matthews, Dick Ambrose defensively for Cleveland. Short by about a half a yard.
I expected Tony to have a good night tonight. We were talking to him in the hotel the day before the game. He says, you know, I got a lot of my folks, my friends, and my family here tonight. And he said, I always play better in front of them.
Only takes a little more than an hour to drive here from Pittsburgh.
Hey, right here. I told him I knew how it was. I like to play better with Jeff and Hazel in the stands, too. Helps a little bit to have folks there.
Second, about a half a yard. Tony Dorsett, of course, missed the opening game against St. Louis. Broken toe in the middle of July. Gets the call again in the draw play. Alzado can't hold on, and Dorsett has the first down as he slithers to the 35-yard line, and that's a good description because this little man, when he plants that foot, goes for yardage. He is about 6 inches off the ground.
Zia. Just running right off of that thing. Alzado almost had him for a couple of yards lost that time. Couldn't quite get there. I'm sure that knee had a little bit of something to do with it. Let's see if he can push off of that left knee. And you see that he didn't even try that much, but that was awfully close.
Cowboys close to the 35 of Cleveland. Again, the score. Cleveland striking suddenly. Lead the Dallas Cowboys 20-7. And this is Scott Laidlaw getting the call, and Laidlaw gets close to the 30-yard line for a pickup of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
I tell you, I like the way he picked up that 4. Did you see the move he made? Started outside, realized no. Cut back, did a good job.
It's a design play that way, Howard.
Is it?
Yeah, they give them a look of a play that they run a lot. And the tackle will go out and try to block on that defensive end. And when he receives pressure, the offensive tackle falls back into the middle of the line. And that give that little head fake on the inside and bob out to the outside.
Good information, old boy.
Thank you, sir.
2nd down, 6. Dorsett turns it on to the outside, and he makes it look so effortless. Tom Darden takes him out of bounds, but he's inside the 20. Another Dallas first down, and Dorsett, who, as I told you, suffered from that toe injury, is coming back to form. He had over 100 yards against the Bears, overshadowed a little bit by Walter Payton's performance of 130. And he's back to what he was last year and the year before when he gained over 1,000 yards in his first 2 years as a Cowboy.
59 seconds left in the first quarter. 27 points already scored. This is action football.
Very well. Good block by Scott Laidlaw on that last run.
Pearson goes out to the right. Jay Saldi, number 87, is the short wingback, bottom of your screen. 1st and 10. Staubach looking for 6, and he throws it away. Mike St. Clair was on Staubach. No flags down. So Staubach avoids the loss.
So a little bit of, well, it was kind of a mixed-up move back with Saldi on his timing to come out of his position to go on a motion play to the other side, which enabled them to really read that thing in a hurry. Didn't fool anybody, and he had him wrapped around his neck over there.
I think they were fouled up from the very beginning. They had Billy Joe Dupree in there and Saldi and Cosby, and Billy Joe all of a sudden ran off before the ball was snapped. In any event, it's 2nd down and 10. The ball at the 19-yard line. Seconds ticking away in the first quarter. Scott Laidlaw drops the ball and is picked up.
Oh, boy.
Clay Matthews, I think, the linebacker.
Either Matthews or Darden, I couldn't tell either.
That could hurt Dallas. They were moving. And it's Clay Matthews
It was
who gets
Clay.
the turnover by Scott Laidlaw.
Big turnover for Cleveland.
Oh, that's a good move from the outside over there by Mike Sinclair, who kind of stripped that ball loose. He's the guy that we saw wrapped around Rogers' neck to play before.
Very active in 2 straight plays.
And Howard, I kind of agree with what you said earlier. Cleveland had better not go into a shell. They came out throwing the ball on first down. They hung up a lot of points.
That's an interesting conversation right there, I'll guarantee you. Tom saying, how dare you tell me that?
They can disagree. They did at the end of last week on the game-winning play to Tony Hill. More on that later.
Rucker in motion. Sight on first down. Going to the air. Reggie Rucker has it. And he moves it out to the 25-yard line. Close to a first down. D.D. Lewis took him out of bounds. And here's the man who made it possible. Picking up that Laidlaw fumble.
USC, of course. But that's what Cleveland has to do, the play you just saw. If they try to get cozy, if they try to cling to that lead, they're going to pay for it. But this way, they can keep Dallas off balance. There are only 44 seconds left in this quarter.
Ball at the 25-yard line. Dave Logan splits left for Cleveland, number 85. Reggie Rucker, bottom of your screen. Again, Greg Pruitt wears 34. Play action by Brian Sipe.
Now that is a good offensive move.
Isn't he
Dave Logan,
something?
the man who hung up a touchdown with Brian Sipe, and he is really some gifted athlete.
Frank, the real trick is he came back for the ball. Goes down a little curl-in route. You can see him. He just stepped up right in front of it. Come back to that ball. How many times do you hear receiver coaches say that? Come back and get the ball. Good job, Dave.
In the whole history of the National Football League, you know what team has the winningest record? The Cleveland Browns.
That's right.
They got a tradition in this place, I'm telling you.
And Cleveland is going to let the time expire here in the first quarter. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's it. And what a big quarter it was for Cleveland. They lead the Dallas Cowboys 20-7. Tremendous crowd. Ah, yes.
Oh, yes.
Cleveland, Ohio. They're fired up tonight. The Browns, as we begin the second quarter, 1st and 10. The ball at their own 44-yard line. Reggie Rucker splits out to the right. Logan, who's having a big night, along with Brian Sipe, split to the left, and Mike Pruitt gets the call. And Mike Pruitt cuts back over the 45 to the 48-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Told you it's tough to get out of.
It's tough to run on Dallas. That flex defense on first down, although oddly, certain men have been having very big running games against the Dallas Cowboys this year. Otis Anderson and Peyton.
2nd and 6. Greg Pruitt. And Pruitt short of the first down at the Cowboys' 47-yard line by about a yard. It'll be 3rd and 1.
I think we're seeing, as we look at the stats on the screen, an example of what usually is a reverse jargon in football. They say, okay, you got to establish the run before you throw. Cleveland, I think, came out and established the pass first, and they did pass very well. Now they're coming back, and Dallas seems to be just a little bit hesitant on defense in against that run. They've run twice, picked up 9 yards.
Calvin Hill, number 35, in the Cleveland Browns short yardage backfield. 3rd down, a little more than a yard to go. Rucker sprints right, and here comes Mike Pruitt. And Pruitt gets the first down inside the 45-yard line. Cliff Harris hustling up there to make the stop. Bob Bruning sliding over from middle linebacker, but Cleveland has a first down.
Mike Pruitt has become a steady, solid, tough back to go together with Greg Pruitt. He is, incidentally, an excellent lead blocker, and he is capable of 100-yard games himself. You fans who've been watching the Browns know that.
Sure is. He didn't play much his first 2 years, but last year he got over 500 yards, and he has really come into his own. Had a big day against Baltimore a week ago. On first down, Sipe is going to the air again. Look out for Henderson. He overthrows Ozzie Newsman, but he paid the price. Tom Henderson really popped Brian Sipe.
There's a guy who settled down, who stopped with all the palaver, all of the talk.
He's an exceptionally good blitzer because of his speed and quickness. You see him come into the outside. I mentioned a moment ago, and I think we'll see more of it, this kind of defensive play by Dallas, because really they're not getting the kind of pass rush they're used to from the front four. And Thomason is recognized on the team as the best blitzer they have.
And trying to discard a little bit of that Hollywood in.
That's a good idea.
Won't hurt.
Ball at the 44-yard line. Second down 10. Theo Miller is in there, number 30. He gets the draw play.
Good move by D.D.
He runs
Lewis.
into D.D. Lewis, who read it quickly, moved back, and there's a pickup of 4. It'll be third down and 6.
You want to know what D.D. Lewis means to a team and to this Dallas team, Don? You look back through the history of the Cowboys, and you'll find in some of the most important games they've ever played, D.D. Lewis was involved in the key play that caused the turning point. Remember an intercept against the Rams in a playoff a couple of years back?
You're a lot better at those things than I am, but I know he's been a good football player for him for a long time.
As long as since you've been. That's right.
Passing down for Cleveland. Dallas has 6 defensive backs in. They can either blitz them or drop into a blanket zone. Sight. Going for Newsome, and Newsome was tangled up with Randy Hughes. The crowd doesn't like it, but there's no flag.
Sight doesn't like it either, as you could say.
Well, he again had plenty of time to throw, and Newsome was really open down there. Hughes had him in pretty good shape. Let's see if we can pick it up again. Ozzie, as we've already mentioned in the telecast, he's a good one. That's pretty good position, though, but you see Ozzie just pulling away from him a little bit, and really, Randy Hughes has good speed back there. Maybe a little faster than Charlie Waters, the guy he's replacing.
Tony Hill awaits the punt of Johnny Evans on 4th down. Tony Hill back there because Butch Johnson has been on the reserve list following a broken finger. He ordinarily would be deep. Tony Hill indicates the fair catch, but he hopes it goes into the end zone. It does. So Dallas will have the touchback. They'll have possession at their own 20-yard line. With 12:10 remaining in the half, and Dallas down 20-7.
Folks, that should be the best night of boxing in a long, long time. On the same card with Larry Holmes and Ernie Shavers. Sugar Ray Leonard against Andy Price, a tough opponent, a valid opponent, and Roberto Duran. And you know about him. Here's Skip.
1st and 10. Dallas has the ball following the touchback at the 20-yard line. 2 tight ends are in, Billy Joe Dupree and Doug Cosby. Laidlaw, who fumbled the ball inside the 20-yard line on Dallas's last drive, gets the call, and he gets a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
It's kind of like going back to a receiver after he's dropped one. You try to go back to him as quickly as you can. They didn't wait very long and giving Scott that ball again to handle.
Burton Lawless now comes in, bringing the play into Roger Staubach, who's talking once again with Tom Landry. Second and 8. Laidlaw and Dorsett. The motion man is Saldi. Here comes Dorsett.
Yeah.
Dorsett turns upfield, gets the first down. He had a tremendous block by Tom Rafferty, number 64, right. You saw it, a good shot coming right at you.
He's beautiful to watch. He doesn't run, Danderoo. He glides.
He does. If he could have gotten Burton Lawless from out in front of him, he'd have picked up about 10 more. That was his offensive guard that was trying to give him some hep, H-E-P, hep. He wasn't quite quick enough to get out there and do much good.
Dorsett carries it to the 33-yard line. 1st and 10. Dallas maintains their 2 tight end offense. Cosby's 84, Billy Joe Dupree is 89. Quick toss, Dorsett. Laidlaw out in front, and Dorsett gets over the 35, and the flag goes down as Dorsett goes down at the 37-yard line following a gain of 4.
Could have been anything from a face mask to holding and clipping and all those sort of wonderful things that go on in a pile like that. And I was right the first time. Face mask.
Face mask. Very good.
Thank you. Got a sharp eye tonight.
First penalty of the night. And we have 10:42 remaining in the first half. Our referee again, Cal Lepore, and we'll have an opportunity to hear from Cal.
Face mask, 57. Defense, first down.
Clay Matthews defensively for Cleveland. Dallas has a first down, their own 42-yard line. Tony Hill back in the lineup now. Jay Saldi stays in there.
Got Billy Joe in a little motion.
Staubach fires to Billy Joe Dupree. Over the middle, short of the first down. The ball moving out to the 48-yard line.
appears to me that
Gain of 7, it'll be 2nd and 3.
these guys are open, but they're not open very much.
That's why Frank Sperb was right. He fired that ball in there, and that's how it got there. You just looked at Sam Rutigliano, part of the Brooklyn connection that constitutes this Cleveland ball club. Modell, the owner, Rutigliano, the coach, Alzado, defensive end. Among those here who grew up in Brooklyn.
Dupree and Cosby, the rookie from Santa Clara, back in there. 2 tight ends. Laidlaw gets the call, cuts back to midfield, short of the first down, near the 49-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Rich Dimmler, a rookie out of USC, number 92, in there defensively to trip up Scott Laidlaw.
Good down the line pursuit by Shirk that time too. The ball was going away from him a little bit. Kind of dealt with his block there at the line of scrimmage and slipped on down. What do we got there in baseball, Coach?
Pittsburgh back in first place. Won the first of 2, 5-2. At the moment, leads the Expos by a half. They're tied 1-1 in the second.
3rd down, a little more than a yard for a first down. Dorsett, the little one, gets the first down. As he gets the short yardage call and moves to the 46, it'll be first down and 10 for Dallas. Oliver Davis there to make sure Dorsett did not travel any further.
Houston now 2 games behind, losing the first to Atlanta. Cincinnati beginning to cement its position, especially with its victory over Houston yesterday. And the Braves, a troublesome hitting lineup leading in the second game. We'll keep you abreast of all the scores as we go. The scores in baseball, that is.
Dallas very conservatively moving the football. That won't last long.
How did you know? How did you know? That is it.
That is Drew Pearson inside the 5. First and goal, Dallas.
That's what you call. Well, Landry calls the signals, but the 2 of them do get together, and sometimes Staubach doesn't go with Tom.
Well, you can, excuse me.
No, Frank called it exactly right.
Look at this
catch. They have been setting Cleveland up.
That's an incredible catch. That is a very difficult ball to catch.
I think it's the most difficult, Frank, unless you talk about low and behind you. This one is a little bit high, but you see he goes again. There's another one of those good floaters. You see him put his eye on that ball and never let it go. Caught it over his left shoulder, running when it should have come over his right shoulder. Heck of a catch.
Oliver Davis, who was right there, had no chance.
And should you have just joined us, it was all Cleveland. They had a 20-0 lead at one point. Dallas came back, long touchdown pass to Tony Hill. They're threatening again. First and goal, the ball at the 3-yard line. Dorsett. Off the ball.
Can you believe that?
Brown comes up with it. And it's Dick Ambrose, and Dallas has fumbled away another opportunity.
That, of course, is the problem that Tony Dorsett always has. Look at Tom. It was Dorsett who coughed up the football, and a tremendous break for the Cleveland Browns. Dick Ambrose, the 12th round draft choice the Gift told you about.
All right, let's just see. He never did get a hold of it. Roger looked like slipped a little bit before he was given the ball back there. Ambrose could have gone all the way had not Roger made the tackle and skated and Laidlaw.
We'll be back in Cleveland in a moment.
All right, there's several reasons you have a fumble. Look at this one. This is not a very good exchange. You see Roger right at the last reach as far as he can, little off balance. That's the problem. You got a guy with a quickness like Dorsett has. I don't think he was in motion, but it's just that extreme quickness coming to the outside. That was where they didn't have the good handles. You see that ball bounce just right for Ambrose, and there he is.
There he is. We mentioned earlier he is usually around the football.
Reminds me of what Don has always said about Cleveland through the years. They bend, but they don't break.
You've got me saying that about everybody.
No, just Cleveland.
Ambrose takes it out to the 22-yard line of the Browns, and they avoid another possible touchdown. Dallas was moving earlier in the first quarter and fumbled. Sight on first down. He tries to go to Mike Pruitt, and he's pounded by Bob Brunig, the middle linebacker.
What a hit that was.
You could see that little delay not setting up real well. There were too many guys standing up back there in the backfield. They were going to try to fake a run. That one didn't go. You saw the linemen standing up, and there's just a little bit of that creeping effect. Best screens are run when they look just like a run. Come back out and do it.
But I still like the fact that they weren't sitting on the football.
No, I think that's really, they must come in. They came in throwing, so they must feel they have a better shot at throwing than they do running. Shot of Alzado's knee on the sideline.
Getting some ice.
Second down, 10. The ball at the 22. Cleo Miller who was a starter in 76 and 77 before he broke his wrist a year ago and was replaced by Mike Pruitt as in there, but the handoff goes to Greg Pruitt. Greg Pruitt louse it out somewhere around the 24-yard line. A gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Randy White with a little help from his friends defensively. You got to know Greg Pruitt down in the Superstars. He'd won over $100,000 down there, and this past year, this past year he won it all. And out there, one of the things he did, he was impressive in the weightlifting, which you wouldn't suspect.
275.
And he ran his sneakers on that asphalt 9.7, so he can dart. Nice man. 3rd and 8. Looking for Logan. This time he overthrows as Aaron Kyle was forcing Logan to make his cut quicker than he wanted to, and it'll bring up 4th down, and out will trot Johnny Evans to punt for Cleveland.
You know, Frank, you see Logan put a hand up and touch the ball. You've reached a point. So spectacular has been his play where you expect him somehow to hold on to the football or pull it back into his chest.
There's Tony Hill, and he should have an opportunity to tack on a return. In any event, a fair catch would give Dallas good field position. 7:39 remaining in the first half, and Dallas down 20-7. Evans, he kicks it low, the kind you run back. Good move. Whoops. And Tony Hill takes it inside Cleveland territory at the 38-yard line. 35-yard punt by Johnny Evans, who came in tonight leading the league after 3, and he's not kicking well tonight. We'll be back. And in addition to Penn State versus Nebraska, you'll see Navy versus Illinois, Wake Forest versus North Carolina State, Miami of Ohio against Central Michigan, Florida State against Virginia Tech, and Southwestern Louisiana versus Arkansas State, all capped off by Ohio State against UCLA nationally. Cowboys following a bad punt by Johnny Evans. And a good return by Tony Hill. Has the ball at the 48-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. They still trail by 13. On the first down, Dorsett gets the call. Piled up at the 45-yard line, right side of the Cleveland defense. Gain of a couple, it'll be 2nd and 8. Rich Dimler should be at the bottom of that pile.
This is a very important series, it seems to me, for Dallas, Don, because while they feel, I'm sure by now, they can do pretty much anything they'd like to do with the Cleveland defense, the 2 critical turnovers stultify them. There they are, ended in turnovers.
Yep.
And it kind of stultifies you, and you begin to get a little lackluster.
An interception, by the way, broke a string of 148 coming into tonight. Roger had thrown without an interception as we watched Laidlaw turn the right side. It's to the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 5. And by the way, Roger was going for the record of Don Meredith, who once upon a time threw 166 passes for Dallas without an interception.
Is that right?
Roger had thrown 148 coming into tonight before the interception.
I threw a lot of screens.
You and Lenny Dawson with the sideline hitch.
Gave me a lot of screens.
Throw to Perkins.
That's right.
3rd down 5. The ball at the 43-yard line. Ron Springs is in there, number 20. Preston Pearson, number 26. They are the receiving specialists for the Dallas Cowboys. Back out of the shotgun. Wide open is Tony Hill, as was Preston Pearson. He could have hit anyone he wanted to downfield. 1st and 10 at the 25.
And Drew had a step on him, too. I've never seen so many receivers open in one pattern, but you're right, Frank. They were all open. He came back there. It seemed to me that the Cleveland defense got bunched up there in the middle. Let's see what they're trying to do. They didn't get through. All this crossing stuff, you see Preston Pearson open right there, and there's Tony Hill coming across the middle.
I can guarantee what play you're going to see by Dallas on the next 3rd and 5.
Yep. Well, you'll throw it till you cover it.
What you're saying is what we said. They seem to be able to do pretty much what they want to do at this point with the Cleveland defense.
Except score.
That's it.
They have the ball at the 25-yard line. Inside 6 minutes remaining in the first half. This is Tony Dorsett, and he slithers his way down to about the 23-yard line, 22-yard line. Give him a gain of 3. Well, they mark it at the 23, so it'll be 2nd and 8. Clay Matthews in there defensively. You saw Tom Landry give the play to Herbert Scott. Comes into the ball game with the play for Roger Staubach.
If the Browns are going to blitz, which they're not really a blitzing team, this is the time they usually do it. The 20-yard line on in, you can take a look at those 2 safeties back there, see how they're set up, get a little idea. This could be one of those times.
And they like to send is Clarence Scott, number 22, but he is backing off. Draw back with a bootleg.
Didn't fool Jack Gregory.
And he goes to Billy Joe Dupree, and he drops the ball, but I think they had marked it down.
It was down. That's a proper call.
Short of the first down.
Really a good move by Roger just to get the ball off. Jack Gregory didn't get fooled at all. Great big old tall fellow there looking at him right in the eye. Let's see if we can pick it up again. Little fake play action sort of pass. You see Shirt go one way, then adjust, but no, Gregory didn't move at all.
Charlie Hall was all over the tight end, Billy Joe Dupree. He read it all the way also.
I think they knew Dallas had that play, don't you?
Third down and 3. Ball on the 18-yard line. Dallas really needs to get in on this series. If they get turned away, they will maybe just give this whole thing up as a major frustration. Laidlaw, and he is not to the line of scrimmage, maybe gets a yard, and it'll be 4th down.
That was a good defensive play. Charlie Hall again was out there. If anything, Roger may have thrown that ball a little bit early. It's not unusual to see that kind of play in a short yardage situation where the quarterback can roll out and have the option to run and throw.
Excuse me, Don. Tomlin looked it over, and I think he was seriously thinking about going with the run. He saw it was a little more than a yard and a half, and he sent the field goal team in. That means Rafael Septian.
He's doing the right thing.
I don't know exactly what to
get the point.
How it all printed out, but I'll guarantee you he has it in his head, and he knows that his odds of getting 1.5 yards on the 17-yard line are not as good as he'd like them. So he says, I'm going to go with Septian.
Holding the ball is Danny White. He's also a quarterback with a broken thumb, but he has been working out as a passer, but we do anticipate the field goal. Clock. And it's one of those nights for Dallas.
So far, it sure is. And this was not over yet. Whoa!
Oliver Davis picked up the ball. We don't know who got the big paw on it, but Cleveland has turned Dallas back once again.
Like we said, they bend, but they don't break.
They bend, but they don't break.
They are really frustrating Dallas at this point.
I think that was a critical situation for Dallas in that they have been down there several times, and each time they've come away with nothing.
3 turnovers. You would like fumbles, the block kick, and then, of course, the interception for the touchdown. So, in effect, 4 key turnovers in the first half.
And Cleveland has the ball at their own 28-yard line. Instead of giving up 3 points, fairly good field position. They have 3:30 remaining in the half, and they give the ball to Greg Pruitt. He almost gets around the corner, but he's upended out there.
And you don't ever want him to turn that corner because before you look around, he's 40 yards downfield.
Hey, Curtis Weathers, who's been performing some great plays for Cleveland on their special teams, blocked that kick. He's that rookie from Mississippi. We've seen him down under punts and kickoffs tonight.
I saw Greg Pruitt wave to the bench that time, and I think he hurt his ankle a little bit. It was a good tackle by Bob Bruni coming over. You see Pruitt come out now.
He's limping just a touch.
And Calvin Hill comes in, number 35. Pruitt moves to the sidelines. 2nd down, 6. Ball at the 32. Here's Calvin Hill. And Hill out over the 35 to the 36, short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
That's a man you have to like and you have to respect. Certainly one of the finest running backs the Cowboys ever had. A Yaley who dreamed of playing tight end, but was instead used as a running back. Made a mistake, went to the World Football League, paid for it, then to Washington, and then with the career apparently over, back with Cleveland and doing great spot duty for them.
On 3rd and 2. Sight, intercept, hangs it up, and and Cook Harris can't hold on. He was in a battle for the ball with Ozzie Newsome.
Ozzie did his job. He made sure that Cliff didn't get it.
That's right.
And D.D. Lewis again. He was in there pressuring Sight. Made him hurry the throw on the blitz. So 2:09 with the clock stopped. And Dallas will get the football back. Plenty of time. Dallas with 3 timeouts. Cleveland with 3 timeouts.
Now you made the key point about Evans. He's been punting poorly tonight, Frank. Let's see what he does now. Because Tony Hill can break it if he gets a shot.
Tony Hill standing at the Dallas 30-yard line. Cleveland with a long count, hoping to draw Dallas offsides. They do not. Hill will have an opportunity.
He's got some fast feet, hasn't he?
Oh, he's quick.
Oh, boy. He's got quick feet.
Woo. And he avoided about 5 grounds, but only gets the ball out to the 28-yard line. There's the 2-minute warning. Time actually had moved to 1:58 remaining in the half before play was stopped. And we'll be returning to Cleveland in just a moment. Going to take it on the next timeout. We're back in Cleveland, 1:58 remaining in the first half. And the Dallas Cowboys, thoroughly frustrated throughout this half, trailing 20-7, have a 1st and 10. The ball at their own 29-yard line. Staubach comes immediately out in the shotgun. The Cowboys with 3 timeouts. Cleveland in their prevent defense. 5 defensive secondary men back there. Staubach has the time, but no receiver. Now he has to throw into a crowd going for Preston Pearson. He was well covered by Charlie Hall.
Yes, sir.
2nd and 10.
This is a part of the Cowboy offense that's really been pretty effective this year. Roger really is, I would say, really personally responsible for their 3 victories. He's brought them back almost every week, and a lot of it's had to do with this type of offense they run. They run it very well, spend a lot of time working on it, as all teams do. But the Cowboys have been very, very effective in this so far this year.
And they have had to be, because they have really not had their running game in any sort of shape. Nevertheless, #1 team in offense after the first 3 games. 2nd down 10. Ball at the 29-yard line. 1:52 remaining in the half. Staubach again from the shotgun. Again, he has the time. Goes to Preston Pearson, and he does not hold on. You won't see that often.
You really don't, because that ball was right there, well thrown. Looked like he took his eye off it just right at the last. Big 3rd down situation.
Defensively out there for Cleveland, Ricky Jones, but Staubach knows he should have had that one. 3rd and 10. Dallas with 3 timeouts. Should they be able to put together a completion? Cleveland has all of their defensive secondary men back. They moved into 6 men now because Ricky Jones, who can play linebacker, is also a good defensive back and a backup safety man. He's in there wearing 47 for Cleveland. Out of the shotgun once again. Staubach in trouble. Down he goes. Jerry Shirk.
They just really overpowered him, put a good defensive rush with all 4 of the front guys up there. Had the linebackers pretty well covered. He didn't have a chance to look at anybody.
You talk about a fired-up team. We've told you about Jerry Shirk, the great veteran from Oklahoma State. But what's interesting is the play of the underpublicized Cleveland linebackers tonight. We've seen Charlie Hall get at least 4 critical calls from Frank, and then Clay Matthews on a number of occasions.
And Dick Ambrose picking up a key fumble by Dorsett and Staubach. All right, Danny White will punt, and Cleveland could get field position. They've got the top punt returner in the AFC back on his own 40-yard line. That's Keith Wright.
Little mix-up there.
And they are going to get called for delay of the game, and Cleveland will have even better field position following a 5-yard assessment.
That's really not like Dallas to do. You know, they seem to be a little bit rattled out there. Things didn't work real well. Denny Barnes, it appeared, was lined up in the wrong position. They were trying to bring him, saw Bob Brunick trying to bring him back in. Delay of the game call.
You're so right. This is not
they don't
Tom
usually do that.
likes to see.
No, they don't do that. I bet they'll have some time next week to be talking about these things. You're right, too, Frank. With a minute, 12 seconds, this does really put Cleveland in a very good position to add to their lead already.
Offense, 4th down.
All right, Danny White will give it another go-around. We'll start that 30-second clock again, of course. And this time, Keith Wright has moved up to his 45-yard line. Again, Cleveland with 3 timeouts and 1:12 on the clock. Cleveland with a 20-7 lead. They exploded in the early going. Dallas looked like they were coming back. The turnovers killed them. Good punt by White. This is Wright from his own 40. And Wright.
He was trying to make
his progress stopped at the 43-yard line. Let's go quickly to Howard Cosell.
Frank, it's a positive honor and privilege to have with us the former President of the United States, the Honorable Gerald Ford. And, sir, as an old Michigan Senator, your evaluation of what you've seen so far.
We've seen a great football game. The Cleveland Browns have been very aggressive. They've made the breaks, taken advantage of them. On the other hand, that was a beautiful pass from Roger Staubach to Tony Hill. You can't rule Dallas out even though they're 13 points behind.
We haven't done that, sir, not yet. Quickly, let's go back to Frank.
We thank you, sir, for being with us on 1st and 10. Cleveland, Brian Sipe deep, going for Ozzie Newsome, and is picked off.
Eddie Barnes.
Eddie Barnes, the left cornerback. Dallas in the prevent defense. Now a flag goes down as Barnes gets it back up to midfield. 46 seconds remaining on the clock.
I don't know, Frank. It may be wrong, but I think this penalty might be on Harvey Martin in attempting to block after the interception. Let's see if we get a call on it.
Personal foul indicated, and will be marched off against Dallas.
Notice that Sipe kept throwing, even with only seconds left. 46 seconds remaining.
I don't blame him with a guy like Cockcroft on his side. He needs hit one, and he was pretty well close to that field goal position. All right, things are not what you'd say going Dallas's way.
Here's referee Cal Laporte.
Personal foul after the interception, 65. Dallas, first down.
Against David Stiles. Let's go back to Howard.
We're back with former President Gerald Ford. I take it you viewed with glee Tom Doughton, an ex-Michiganer's interception for the touchdown.
He was a great ball player at Ann Arbor, and the way he came through, grabbed that ball and went, what was it, about 35, 40 yards?
Yes,
well, he's done a great job, but I would say the whole Cleveland team has been aggressive and fantastic, and it's been a great evening.
Thank you, sir. You look superbly well. Great to have you with us.
Staubach goes to 26, his usual receiver, Preston Pearson, and Preston Pearson gets close to a first down. I believe he has it at the 45-yard line. 35 seconds on the clock. And Dallas calls timeout. They'll have 2 remaining. 35 seconds remaining in the first half. Cleveland ahead 20-7. We'll be back.
Being retarded doesn't mean you can't reach out and hold on to life. I'm Billy Joe Dupree of the Dallas Cowboys, and these are some people I care about. At this United Way agency, every day is a challenge for these kids, and hopefully a small victory. I've been blessed as an athlete through my life and giving back some of these blessings that have been given to me to people who are not as fortunate as I am physically. I guess it gives me a sense of responsibility toward them, and it will feel a lot closer to the program and to the people involved in it. If you can manage to go in and to visit a United Way agency or some type of affiliated agency that deals with retarded people, I think that you and yourself will find some place in your heart to go out and do what you can to help these people too.
Back in Cleveland, the Dallas Cowboys have the football, trailing 20-7. They have the ball inside the 45-yard line. They have 2 timeouts remaining, 35 seconds on the clock. And maybe 2 of the finest quarterbacks in moving the ball with little time on that clock are on the field tonight. Brian Sipe and Roger Staubach. Staubach out of the shotgun. And Roger unloads it to save the loss in the general area of Tony Hill, but he really had the pressure. Jack Gregory forced him out of the pocket, and then Nicky Sims was there and Mike St. Clair along with Sims.
I'm looking at Jack Gregory tonight, and I don't understand why a team like the Giants let him go. He's playing well out there. The time he's been in, 3 times we've seen him pressurizing the quarterback. Incidentally, a halftime highlights tonight we will have, as always, but a special feature. Pete Rose of the Phils came to bat tonight, got a hit, and he became the first player in Major League history to have gotten 200 or more hits in 10 different seasons. You'll be seeing that at halftime.
You see the time remaining in the half, 27 seconds, 2nd down and 10. Staubach again from the shotgun. Firing through Pearson, has it. And Pearson is down at the 30-yard line, and Dallas immediately calls timeout with 19 seconds remaining in the half.
I don't think you can throw a ball any better than that one was thrown. The distance, man, you talk about the distance. Well, we're watching Tony Hill.
What about the catch?
Drew Pearson was, excuse me. Well, the catch is great. I happen to think that I was looking at the quarterback there. He's been getting some pressure. He almost got knocked on his can the time before. Step back up in and drill it 45 yards on a line. That ain't a bad throw.
He hung it on a string, and he did. He has one timeout to work with. The ball at the 30-yard line.
They always say, you know, it's only his job just to get it down there, right? It's when you get it down there, it's up to you to catch.
Well, look at those stats. Rogers having a good night. The problem has been the 2 fumbles. There was the 1 pick off by Don for the intercept, and then there was the blocked attempted field goal. Now they want to get it in a little closer, of course, for Septian, who's not the longest place kicker in the league.
I think they'll try a couple more times to get it in the end zone without trying to set up that field goal. I think really right now they're still thinking about scoring a touchdown.
I think you're probably right about that.
But you're probably right that they'd like to get it a little closer for Septian to kick.
I'm sure.
Yes, that makes both of us right.
Why not?
And don't clown with the Browns, you understand?
A little disheartening news for the Cleveland Browns and their fans. Greg Pruitt is going to have a knee examined at halftime. We saw him walk off under his own power. He took himself out of the game, and the report is that he has hurt his knee, and it will be looked at halftime.
Until last year, he was always a durable little water bug, as I call him.
Why do you call him that?
Because he's a scatter runner. He goes in all directions the way a water bug does.
Oh, okay.
19 seconds. The Cowboys out of the shotgun have a 1st and 10. Ball at the 31-yard line. Staubach has the time. He wants Tony Hill deep. And he hit him, but Hill could not hang on. He threw another beautiful pass between Oliver Davis and Randy Rich.
Now that was a magnificently thrown pass, Don.
It really is. I've been talking to his other coaches and so on. I actually spent some time with Roger too. And it's always easy to say, you know, that when they start getting 36 years old, as Roger is, well, this is his best year so far. But he has all the stats to back it up. Look at that ball, man. Not even a ripple in the thing, and it did hit Tony right in the hands. Of course, he had some defensive people around him, and I don't say he dropped it. It just was one of those things. He didn't drop it, did he?
Well, let's say he could have caught it.
It was there.
1 timeout for Dallas. 2nd down, 10. The ball inside the 31-yard line. Again from the shotgun. Cleveland fakes the blitz. They pull out of it, but they still get pressure. Staubach tried to hustle it, and he hit Clay Matthews, and Matthews was shocked.
I can really understand, you know, Matthews is standing right there in front of him. But let's look at the trouble that Roger gets in before he gets up in a position to throw. There's something about playing quarterback. You can feel those guys come around there. He didn't even see Matthews. He's drilling it right there. And you see that what happened to Roger right after it, he got hit from the back. So here's Septian.
He'll have to kick on 3rd down because the clock indicates only 6 seconds remaining in the half. So the field goal attempt by Septian will be somewhere around 47 yards. Danny White will be holding.
Not easy.
He's 4-4 inside the 40. He kicked one 51 yards, a career record for Septian last week against the Bears. He has the distance, and he misses on the right. Time has expired, and you'll hear a roar because the Cleveland Browns have the Dallas Cowboys 20-7 at halftime. Stay with us. Highlights and a look at baseball history.
We're back live, Cleveland, Ohio. The halftime score, Cleveland 20, Dallas 7. The scoring like this. Dave Logan on a 23-yard pass from sight. The conversion failed, 6-0 Cleveland. Ozzie Newsome, 52-yard pass from sight. The conversion good, 13-0. Tom Dawden, number 27, 39-yard interception. Touchdown, kick good, 20-0. Tony Hill on a 48-yard bomb from Staubach, thus the score 20-7. At Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia tonight, baseball history made. So let's go back to Philadelphia for what happened. And it was like that in Veterans Stadium. That's Philly Fanatic going through his thing. And we were in the bottom half of the 2nd inning with 2 outs and none on, and the score tied 1-1. Pete Vukovich pitching for the Cardinals, and Pete rose up. He took a pitch, a called strike, and then this. This smallish fellow, one of the greatest competitors in the history of baseball, and there it was, a shot into right center. So he became the only man in the total history of baseball, as you look at that remarkable competitor. And the crowd, the only man to collect 200 hits in 10 different seasons. The Cards won 7-2, but so what? And now again at halftime, live in Cleveland, and the Browns bending but not breaking, leading.
That action, of course, yesterday, but meanwhile we have what could turn into a barn burner. It's been close all night. At halftime, the score, Cleveland 20, Dallas 7. Dallas, of course, a victim of their own mistakes. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football is being brought to you by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Buick, for Riviera and the mid-size Century and Regal, to the 1980s smaller Buicks like Skylark. You'll find very fine cars and very good thinking. We'll be ready for the second half kickoff after a word from our local stations.
All right, Frank, guess.
Yes.
Well, Ray Beck wore 65. We had a couple of 65s. I better fish around and find out. 42, of course, Charlie Connolly. 16, well, yours truly. 29, Alex Webster. Kyle Rowe, 44. 65, Ray Beck.
And every one of them watching tonight. Big Red in Jersey, Kyle in New York, Chuck down in Mississippi,
Clarksdale,
Mississippi.
Yeah, Frank and I know that. All right, Brian.
Brian Sight. And he turned on this huge crowd of an anticipated 80,000 in the first quarter. Hit Dave Logan. Beautiful pass, corner of the end zone. Throwing the ball on first down. Then Cleveland ran into a little bit of trouble. Dallas moved the ball. They had a couple of fumbles. They had an interception. They had a blocked field goal. And anything and everything that could have happened to Dallas has just about happened to them tonight. Cockcroft will kick off. Springs is deep along with Steve Wilson. And this will be Wilson, who had a touchdown against the Bears, called back last week of 84 yards. Steve Wilson, a rookie from Howard and the son of a former great player with the Rams in Cleveland. Touchdown, Tommy Wilson.
Got some good moves there, hasn't he? Goes to the outside.
He is fast.
Dallas has a 1st and 10. The ball up to 31. And, Don, you've been in that locker room, and things went like this with Dallas. What did you hear from Tom?
Well, you really hear almost the same thing. They really cut out the chatter. They get right down to business. They go right back over, see if any changes, any adjustments that have been made they didn't expect, try to go over that. But usually they go back and say, let's go what we had going in. They worked awful hard to get ready for the game, so they'll know.
And never any panic.
No panic.
Tony Dorsett.
Maybe they should panic.
And I'll tell you what's happening to Dorsett. You fumble the ball a few times, and every time you go up against the team, they're going to test you. Every second man in there is going to pop that ball. They're going to try and jar it loose, and it just compounds a problem if you have one.
And that's a good comment, because that's what Dorsett is thinking about, and that's what self-inhibits his play.
You also look and see, how did Mickey Sims get back there in the backfield before Tony got to the line of scrimmage? You check little things like that. How's he back there? Somebody blocking.
Second down, 10. Laidlaw, and he moves out close to the 35-yard line for a gain of 4. It's going to be 3rd down and 6.
That's a big play, because you know that Tom Landry wants this team to get off the mark in a hurry. And this first series, again, is an important series. As we have had several for the Cowboys in the first half, we have one again here.
Into the ball game on 3rd and 6. The passing down for Dallas comes Ron Springs, Jay Saldy, and Preston Pearson. The receiving core, if you will, of the Cowboys in the passing situation. Roger out of the shotgun. Cleveland brings in their 5th defensive man. And Roger hurried again, and it was Mickey Sims once again in on Roger Staubach.
Getting good pressure by Mickey Sims and Mike St. Clair both. Of course, you see Shirk around there. Shirk is the guy you kind of expect. He's got the reputation. They'll try to double him in there occasionally.
You know, and Sims isn't really, he's more of a player against the run. He came up in 77 as a 4th-round draft pick, and he's strong against the run. Out of South Carolina State. The men they expect to get the pass rush from are Lyle Alzado and Shirk. But Sims is turning in quite a ball game tonight. 4th down, Danny White. There's Keith Wright at the 25-yard line. Dangerous punt return man for Cleveland. White hangs it high. Wright was going to call for a fair catch. He never got the hand up. Flag is down. And keep in mind a new rule. Don't know whether that was applicable on that particular play, but number 47 of the Browns, that would be Ricky Jones, is gesticulating like he may have caused the foul.
Sure, you can see that clip. It was right in front of us, Don.
Well, I think it does. It applies to the new rules because it was not one of your real obvious sort of clips. I'm sure that we'll have it again. Maybe you can take a look at it. But would that be where the guy's blocking below the waist, or he's just pushed him from the back?
That was just an out-and-out clip, I believe.
I thought he just pushed him. I didn't see
him from the back, right in front of us.
Personal foul, clipping 27 on the return. It's a first down.
He meant 47. Watch this. 27 is Tom Doughton. He's not the special team.
There you
Ricky Jones.
Ricky Jones, and the ball is moved back to the 14-yard line.
There it is.
Any contact from behind, of course, the call is clipping. So Cleveland deep in their own territory, but still with a 20-7 lead. This is Calvin Hill. Calvin Hill moves out over the 15 to about the 17, giving 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6. And Greg Pruitt, we understand, will come out, test his knee that he hurt in the second quarter to see if he can go back into the lineup.
Well, let me tell you, if the threat of Greg Pruitt on the ground is not in there, Cleveland is in for trouble. And let's watch what Sipe does. Deep in his own territory. Let's see if he plays the venturesome kind of game he did throughout the first half to the very end.
Ball marked closer to the 18, so make it 2nd down and 7. Here's Mike Pruitt, and Mike Pruitt gets out over the 20 to the 21-yard line. Short of the first down by a long 2. D.D. Lewis in there on the stop defensively for Dallas. Call it 3rd down and 3 for Cleveland.
These two teams went wild in the first quarter. Since then, there's been an obvious and natural letdown. Although, in fairness to Dallas, they moved the ball well, seemingly at will, except for the interception and a touchdown by Doughton and a fumble on the Cleveland 19 and a fumble on the Cleveland 2.
Keith Wright comes in for Reggie Rucker. Has to be considered passing down for Cleveland, but they play it conservatively. And they are close to a first down at the 25-yard line. Mike Pruitt carrying the ball.
That was the first. It's a good little, we used to call it a delay trap. One of the reasons that you run a play like that, you find a defensive end that's tendencies go to the outside, which is Harvey Martin's. And it is a passing situation. Harvey's usually going to take that outside move. Try to come back in, close off Randy White on the inside, and break up a little hole right between those two guys.
And from high overhead, the Goodyear Blimp America from Houston, Texas gives us a beautiful view of the stadium on a great night for football. Our cameraman Norm Olson is up there with Captain John Moran from Texas.
Tomball, Texas.
On 1st and 10, Sipe, play action. Going deep, Rucker's there. And it's off the fingertips.
Oh, boy.
I love that call, Dad.
That's a good call.
I really do.
I thought he was trying to get his backs out because he had Mike Pruitt open on the other side. But Rucker came out on there, and Kyle here, little fake to the inside, ran right through it.
That's the way to play this game. Just overthrew him.
You got to feel that that's basically in the area of Cliff Harris, the free safety roaming over there. And Cliff is really aggressive, tries to play those runs first. Drop back out, a good route by Rucker. It wasn't really over the middle, but it was up deep.
You can almost hear Kyle say, "Where are you, baby? Where's the phone?
Give me some help, baby. Where is somebody?"
On 2nd and 10. Sipe again, play action. Goes for Rucker again. This time it comes off the fingertips. High over the arms of Rucker. Benny Barnes was in position for the defense. Had it been on target.
By the way, Frank Howard, y'all may not know this, but this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience, you see. And any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without express written consent of the National Football League And probably root knowledge is prohibited.
It has never been expressed better.
Okay.
But the key thing here is that the Browns are not playing safe. They didn't connect, especially on the first one, to Rucka when he was open.
And they've got themselves in a 3rd and 10.
Look at that blitz coming in there. And that's a delayed blitz by that, I was telling you a while ago, Thomas Henderson. When Dallas gets an offense in a split formation or that wide set, they figure they know nobody can block him. It's a little delayed blitz. You see the back go out, and now here comes Henderson, and he's one of the few linebackers who has that kind of speed that can come in there from the left, and boy, does he put it to him.
What a hit.
Randy White was fairly close, number 54, but the hit goes to Henderson.
There's a guy that was clocked as a linebacker, Langston, at 9'5". He can motor. Johnny Evans will punt. He has not been punting well tonight. Wade Manning is standing at midfield for Dallas. Wade Manning, rookie free agent out of Ohio State, awaits the punt of Evans. Kicks it low. Manning has a chance. Bobbles the ball and gets back to the 45-yard line. Flags are down all over the field.
All sorts of flags on Wade Manning.
A lot of laundry.
Again, we've seen so many flags on the different punting teams, kicking teams this year. And we have another one on Clip. Those against Dallas this time.
Wade Manning is kind of an unusual story in that he really came into Dallas at the last minute almost by saying, well, I might as well give it a try. He's basically a baseball player.
That's what he was.
Yep.
Not a bad one either.
Oh, he did all right. But he figured if he didn't get drafted in the baseball draft high enough, he wouldn't have a shot. Let's see what we got working here.
Personal foul, clipping 34 and a return. It's a first down.
Aaron Mitchell, another rookie out of the University of Nevada in Las Vegas, guilty of clipping. And there's Greg Pruitt. He's on the sidelines. We don't know whether we'll see him or not. Maybe we'll find out when we come back in just a moment. College football on ABC, and it can make for a very fun Saturday.
Look at Brian Sipe there. That's a little ammonia. He says, let me get my head clear. He really did. You see Mark Miller and Evans both warming up on the sideline.
Penalty against Dallas. They still have good field position, their own 39-yard line. They would have been in Brown territory. Staubach right to the air on first down. Looking for Billy Joe Dupree, wide open. Dupree up in it. He has a first down. 43-yard line of Cleveland.
Oh, how that man can pick a team apart.
It was laid right in between. You had Charlie Hall out there, and he had really pretty good coverage. I think it's Charlie Hall and Ron Bolton, number 28. Let's see if we can pick it out. Now, actually, it's 27. Sorry. Yeah, it's Tom Darden. You're right. Just led right on in there. Had pretty good coverage. They were back in that position. Clarence Scott, number 22, is in there. Billy Joe found that opening and a big first down.
Solid tight end. Not as spectacular as a Russ Francis, maybe, or a Dave Casper, but solid.
Alois Blackwell in there. Dorsett moves out of the lineup. The handoff goes to Scott Laidlaw. And Laidlaw is pounded, and it was Ambrose moving in from his middle linebacker position. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 10. And Dallas really has not had a problem moving the ball. They just keep hurting themselves. Penalties. They've had the 2 turnovers on fumbles. They've had an interception. They've had a blocked field goal. They have moved the ball well all night. Mark Miller is warming up on the sidelines for the Cleveland Browns. You saw Brian Sipe.
No, but you just spoke the, Frank, you just spoke the nub of it. Dallas has been frustrating itself. They're ready to get back in this game.
Second down, 10. Saldi in motion. Quick toss to Laidlaw.
Oh! There's good pursuit on that fumble.
Bobbles the ball, and Cleveland's saying they've got it, but I think it's going to be blown
dead. They called it dead. But I tell you, those Cleveland linebackers, again, we must call your attention to them. You haven't heard much about them, have you? Not nationally, not about Ambrose, not about Matthews, not about Charlie Hall, but boy, are they hitting. And this is a game of hitting. It's been, well, these teams were so wild in the first quarter that there has been, as I said, a natural letdown since. And yet you have the feeling Dallas is going to explode.
You see a little coaching tactics going on here. They're sent in 4, I'm going to send in 3.
Dallas sent in their offensive passing unit. Cleveland quickly shuffled in extra defensive backs. Third down and 8. There's a play we thought we'd see again. And there's a wrestling match with the ball at the 28-yard line. I think It's Tom Darden with his second interception.
What happened? What a player. Look at him throw that ball in the air. Tom Darden.
Intended for Tony Hill.
Well, once again, they're really covering him up on this your nickel defense. He's trying to get the ball into Tony Hill, but you saw Darden was looking at Roger all the way back. Didn't have much. He just said back there, that's good defense. Somebody's coached these guys. They're in there in good shape, and we're going to be right back in just a minute.
Where is Leon Spinks? Somewhere in this land of ours, he is looking for Lyle Alzado. But on Friday night, Larry Holmes against Ernie Shavers, and you'll see it here on ABC.
Brian Sipes stays in the ball game. 1st and 10, Cleveland. Ball at their own 28. Screen.
Could be trouble. They caught him in a blitz.
The Cowboys in a blitz. It's the best time to have the screen on. Cleo Miller to the 45-yard line of the Cowboys.
D.D. Lewis was the man on the blitz. He stumbled either on Harvey Martin's legs or somebody. Left him wide open. Good move by Brian Sipe. Reads it. He sees him coming in the other side. He had that one set up and flip out to Cleo Miller. There's nobody there.
Now you talk about a key series as you look at Cleo Miller and a good block from 64.
Hey, what about that tackle by Cliff Harris who went under 64 and then brought him down?
Submarined him, torpedoed him, and thus enabled a tackle.
45-yard line, 27-yard pickup on that play. Cleveland moving the ball. They've been struggling ever since the first quarter when they exploded for 20 points. Dallas has been beating themselves. This is Calvin Hill over the left side. Calvin Hill goes down after a gain of about a yard. It'll be 2nd down, 9. Randy White on the stop.
I'm glad you keep emphasizing, Frank. And look at those turnovers. That tells the story. To emphasize again what Frank just said, Dallas has been frustrating themselves. But you can't take credit away from Cleveland. Now the screen pass, and they just told you, Don and Frank did, how the best time to use is on a blitz. I want to say something about that in just a moment.
On 2nd down. Sight gets good protection. Looks out, finds Mike Pruitt. And D.D. Lewis was right there with Mike Pruitt. There's a gain of 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Harvey Martin pressuring Brian Sipe.
Did you see Mike Pruitt come back on that? No man teaches that more than Sid Gilman, the genius of the past, the present, and still the future, as you look at Mike. And you'll see now in the Eagles offense, they'll go out 17 yards, come back 3, and Jaworski will hit the receiver. Well, Pruitt came back in that manner, though, for a much shorter distance.
3rd down, 3. Ball at the 38-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. A reverse. This is Ricky Feature. Feature does not get the 1st down. Good tackle, Randy Hughes. It'll be 4th.
Good recognition by Larry Cole, who delayed it a little bit, made him go wild.
Point I wanted to make about the screen, Don. Vince Lombardi used to say every team has a key play in its offensive category. The other side knows it's coming. But you've got to perfect this play so that even though they know it coming, you'll make it work on execution. And so the Cleveland Browns with Jimmy Brown would use the screen and not necessarily on a blitz. And everyone would know what was coming. But the way Cleveland worked it with Jimmy, you couldn't stop it.
Johnny Evans. Wade Manning deep for Dallas. Evans hangs it high, looking for the corner. He doesn't get it. It'll be a touchback, and Dallas will have the ball at their 20-yard line. 39-yard punt. 5:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and Dallas will once again try and regroup from their 20-yard line. We'll be right back.
There's evidence right there that either your wife or children are in the audience.
My wife is.
There you go. I knew Andy would do that.
Eat your heart out.
Ah, she's darling. Yeah.
Dallas has the ball. 1st and 10. Ball at the 20-yard line. 5:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Dallas down 20-7. Battling the Browns and themselves. Here comes Tony Dorsett. And Dorsett breaks tackles, gets close to a 1st down out to the 28-yard line. Make it the 29. Tom Darden in there.
And
along Charlie Hall.
That's right. Darden,
I was trying to get him in there.
Hall. You've got them all in.
You got to hurry.
And those linebackers have been all over the place tonight. Those Cleveland linebackers.
The The old saying, Dallas must feel like that general who said, we have found the enemy. He is us.
Not over yet.
2nd and 1. Laidlaw.
There you go.
Right up the middle, putting his head down to get the first, and all of a sudden he found something extra. Out to the 39-yard line, 1st and 10 for Dallas.
Gentlemen, because as you look at Scott Laidlaw, who just had that run, key nature of the pennant race dictates giving this score. The pennant races. Kansas City scored a run in the second. They lead the Angels 1-0 in Anaheim. Gore against Nolan Ryan. California up by 3 games.
Laidlaw and Dorsett. Newhouse not playing tonight. He has a sore ankle. That happened in the St. Louis game. This is Laidlaw on the screen. And down he goes. It was Dick Ambrose who roamed over there from his middle linebacker spot, breaking it up, holding Laidlaw to a gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Didn't they handle that screen beautifully, Don?
They did. It is a difficult block, but he had a man out there to block him. I believe it was Rafferty that was there in that position to block him. So you give Ambrose even more credit because he had a guy that could have knocked him away, went right through him and brought him down for hardly any gain at all.
Great shot from the Goodyear blimp, hovering high overhead on a beautiful night for football in Cleveland. Temperatures in the 50s. Crowd of around 80,000 turning out tonight to watch these 2 unbeaten teams. One of them will not be tonight. Drew Pearson in motion. Staubach bootlegs it. Now looking for a friendly blue jersey, and he turns on. Drops the ball.
Oh, no, I can't believe that.
Jerry Shirk, I believe.
I really can't believe that.
Jerry Shirk comes up with it as Charlie Hall popped Roger Staubach.
It's always the danger when the quarterback scrambles. The oldest maxim in football, or one of them. And there was a linebacker to pick it off, as Frank said.
There's Charlie Hall, 59. He pulls the ball out as he drags Roger down, and there's Jerry Shirk. Cleveland has the football. Dallas has turned it over with 3 fumbles tonight.
So more and more these Cleveland linebackers come into prominence tonight. Ambrose from Virginia, Charlie Hall, Clay Matthews from USC.
Type on 1st and 10. Reggie Rucker is there. And short of a first down, but he's in Dallas territory at the 47-yard line. Defensively, it was Aaron Mitchell for Dallas.
Jerry Shirk. You know, there was a night in 1970 when Don and I, before the first Monday night game ever, went up to Joe Willie Namath's apartment in Manhattan. And Don began to interrogate Joe, one quarterback to another, and Joe said, we're going to work on the new kid from Oklahoma State. And now he's one of the best and has been for a decade.
2nd down, 1. And off goes to Calvin Hill, and Calvin Hill gets a first down against his former teammates, where for a couple of years, 69, 70, I believe it would have been, he had over 1,000 yards a year rushing for them. First down, 41-yard line of Dallas, and Cleveland, who had trouble after that first quarter moving the football, has all of a sudden started to move the ball against Dallas.
Sure has been a strange evening, hasn't it?
It is.
And it's been a strange evening in the National League in baseball. I'll get to that in a second.
Ball at the 41-yard line.
Let's be the moon.
Greg Pruitt will not be coming back into the game, we've been told tonight. This is Calvin Hill. Hill hunted by Aaron Mitchell as he gets to the line of scrimmage, and he'll get a yard out of it. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Calvin saying, where'd he come from?
Wow. Well, he remembers the old Eli song, our team will never fail.
Cleo Miller comes in, replacing Mike Pruitt. 2nd down long. This is also a down when Dallas likes to bring everyone but the coaching staff on the blitz.
If they get in that split backfield, you can count them coming. But they're not in it this time, so you don't know for sure.
Reggie Rucker in motion, coming towards you. Sight has Rucker. Rucker close to the first down at the 31-yard line.
Big play right there. Quick play. Frank, Major League Baseball. Bucks won the first of 2 from Montreal, 5-2. Took a half-game lead in the National League East. Bucks lead in the second, 4-2 in the 5th. Houston lost the first of 2 to Atlanta, fell behind Cincinnati by 2. Atlanta in the second game leads 7-0 in the 7th, and suddenly things look very dark for the 2 underdog teams, the Astros and the Expos.
The chain gang brings out the ball. Someone's been watching the wrong network.
Exactly.
They brought the chain gang out because referee indicated that Cleveland is about 6 inches short of a first down at the 31-yard line. 1:36 remaining in the third quarter.
I don't think it's by accident that they've been throwing over an area where they've had a rookie to work on these last couple of times. Let's see what they go here. A big one. Give it to Calvin Hill and let him jump.
Mike Pruitt has the first down.
Well, it was all right. You had the right notion.
Yep, same thing. Just get it over there.
Sam Retigliano telling Cleo Miller to pass something on to Brian Sipe, which he promptly does. Cleveland now has a first down just inside the 30.
By the way, Don, a quick note. Sunday afternoon, if there's still a pennant race, ABC will be covering the game. But if we do, and if there is still a pennant race, it is mandatory that you appeal.
Oh, that's terrific. I'm glad to hear that. That's really, I like that. You got to be kidding.
Brian Sipe going deep. No flags, and there was a foot race between Benny Barnes and Reggie Rucker. Reggie saying, Benny tripped me, or tried to, but no flags.
Usually it's the other way around. Benny Barnes saying, Lynn Swan pushed me off.
All right, I didn't really see what was going over there. I was watching the secondary. Let's just see what happened.
Nothing.
No, he cannot chuck him after 5 yards, and that's what Reggie was saying.
He barely touched him.
Again, he's really getting good time to throw. When they don't get they haven't really had a lot of pressure on that quarterback without a blitz all night, so they need to work in that area.
But they are not playing an afraid game. Sipe is throwing and throwing and throwing, and that's the way to do it. Sir Francis would tell you that.
2nd and 10. Screen. Ozzie Newsome.
Thomas Henderson.
Super tackle by Tom Henderson. And Ozzie Newsome, well, a lot of people will tell you he does not go down that easily when he's running with the football. And Tom is holding his hand.
Tom hurt his left hand, apparently. And this is a critical play because it could conceivably take them out of field goal range, where Cockcroft, usually the steadiest field goal kicker in the league, as you look at this again, Cockcroft could put them out of range.
And that is Cockcroft pacing the sidelines. You're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports. That's the end of the third quarter. The score, Cleveland 20 Dallas 7. We'll return for the fourth quarter in just a moment. From high overhead, a crowd of over 80,000, 80,123, and that has boosted an NFL in-stadium attendance to a new record this past weekend of over 850,000. They're watching an interesting football game, electric at moments, dull at other times. Dallas troubled by their own mistakes, and Cleveland right now looking over 3rd down and 16 as we begin the fourth quarter. The ball at Dallas's 36-yard line. Flag is down. Cleveland should have a free play. Reggie Rucker at the 15-yard line.
They don't need it. They got the first down.
Benny Barnes saved it. Reggie Rucker, as he has been doing for the past 2 or 3 years for Cleveland, a clutch reception.
Good move by Sipe that time, too, and just standing back there waiting for that thing to open up. I don't know how Reggie got so wide open. He just kind of drifted through the middle. Benny Barnes certainly was trying to come back in there. Nothing fancy. Barnes lost a step when he made his move. Good move by Reggie coming across, but a good move by Sipe and hanging in there.
But again, the key point, Don, the faith of a man, of a coach in the player, working with him. And that's what Rutigliano. There's Greg Pruitt, the right leg. That bodes problems for Cleveland in games ahead, or at least seems to.
Still no major pass rush from Dallas.
First down. The ball just short of the 15-yard line. Ricky Feature in motion. Handoff. Mike Pruitt. Mike Pruitt piled up there. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Maybe gets a yard and a half out of it. It'll be second down and 8.
Let's put this thing in perspective. 2 unbeaten teams coming in, each pulling out late-minute victories all the way through the season. And I'd like to emphasize the point Don Meredith just made, because it is the key point about this Dallas team for the long pull of the season. He said still no pass rush, and that's been true all game. And the absence of Pugh and Too Tall Jones registers more heavily than ever.
6 sacks in 3 games for Dallas coming into tonight. Brian Sipe up on top. Aaron Kyle is going to be called for pass interference, I do believe, against Dave Logan. And Dallas once again has hurt themselves.
I think the point about the pass rush maybe is even more important, Howard. When I saw an interesting statistic this past week. In the past 10 years, the #1 team in sacking the quarterback for 10 years has been Dallas. And they have not been able to sustain what obviously is a fairly excellent part of their defense in the first 3 or 4 games this year.
First and goal. Ball close to the 2-yard line. Mike Pruitt. And he
got in there.
Cowboys into the end zone. Mike Pruitt.
Those fans behind the Cleveland goalposts are up as one, and they are waving pom-poms in the Cleveland colors in unison. It is like a college football game. They've gone crazy here in Cleveland, Ohio. There it is. The picture speaks.
And let's take a look at Mike Pruitt. He bumps into Bob Brunig, bounces off, keeps his feet, sprawls into the end zone, and Cleveland has moved out on top, and it's going to be very difficult for Dallas to come back. Another conversion, kick low. I think it was a bad snap, and it was missed.
I think you're going to see Thomas Henderson coming through. He may be the... Oh, this is the touchdown play. Thomas Henderson hits him in a way, kind of knocks Brunig off of him. Good pursuit on that left side. Put that thing in. They're in trouble right now.
26-7, and we'll be back in a moment. Mike Pruitt, playing without the aid of his buddy Greg Pruitt here in the second half, has scored Cleveland's first rushing touchdown of the season. 26-7 over the Cowboys. 14:04 remaining in the fourth quarter. Ron Springs and Steve Wilson await the kickoff of Don Cockroft.
If they don't score this time, I'm going to crank up Willie Nelson pretty early, I guarantee you.
Steve Wilson.
Oh, what a hit.
Looking and looking for a gap. He's hit there by Randy Rich first, and then Ricky Jones really powdered him.
You folks at home, you're watching professional football tonight. Not what you saw last Monday night, but professional football. You're seeing clean, hard tackling and blocking.
I don't know that I can call 5 fumbles or 5 turnovers real professional football.
Well, some of them have been forced by the aggressiveness of Cleveland.
Possibly so.
They've been an astonishing team tonight. Give them some credit, Don.
Let's do.
Ball at the 32-yard line. Staubach. For Billy Joe Dupree, and Clarence Scott had him well covered.
Toughest thing, I think, for a quarterback to do in a situation like this is to not press. You're down, you know you're in a lot of trouble, and the tendency is, well, I got to make something big happen in a hurry. And when you try to do that oftentimes, that's when, again, you just amplify the problems you've already had. Not that Rodgers had that many tonight, but he has had 2 interceptions, and that's not really like him. So, again, kind of keep you cool, hold that thing together, pick them apart. You got to start off with first downs.
Second down, 10. Ball at the 32-yard line. Drew Pearson goes right. Tony Hill split to the left. to Pearson. Incomplete.
I'll tell you, you're seeing a team that's hitting, Don. Give them credit.
Oh, man, I'm beginning giving them a lot of credit. They're doing a good job, but I'm also just pointing out the obvious facts that Dallas is not playing
they've been frustrated by mistakes.
Yes.
But this is an up team tonight.
Yes,
Cleveland is.
It certainly is.
Incidentally, next week, for the first time in the 10-year history of the series, we're going to be going to one of the cradles of professional football. Green Bay, Wisconsin. More on that in a moment.
Third down, 10. Out of the shotgun. Deflected. Number 74, Mike St. Clair, got a big paw up there. Dallas will have to punt, and that could spell Panini for Dallas. They needed to move the football. They needed to score quickly.
I'll tell you, this team is unbelievable tonight, the Cleveland Browns. But next week, the home of Curly Lambeau, Arnie Herbert, Don Hudson, the home of Vincent T. Lombardi, and Bart Starr, and Paul Hornung, and Jimmy Taylor, and Fuzzy Thurston, and Jerry Kramer, and Ron Kramer, and the Green Bay Packers as they go against the talent-laden New England Patriots. Frank?
That, by the way, was Keith Wright.
And you forgot Cherry. You forgot Cherry Star. She lives there, too.
Cleveland has the football at their own 33-yard line, and they have Dallas in deep trouble. 13:30 remaining in the game.
Well, somebody there put the right name in the wrong color. Ran out of ink.
Probably so.
Of course.
Sure, it was unintentional.
Festive night here in Cleveland. A crowd of over 80,000 loving what they've been watching. The Browns exploded for 20 points in the first quarter. Staggered a bit. Dallas, victim of their own mistakes over and over again. And all of a sudden, Cleveland has started to move the football once again. From their 33-yard line, handoff Mike Pruitt, and Mike Pruitt gets out over the 35-yard line.
Well, they talk about cloud 9, but Cleveland has been higher than that tonight. Really unbelievable.
So's the owner, Art Modell, over to the left. He takes these games so seriously. He loved it. He bought this team in 1961. He is probably their biggest fan.
Well, he hired Sam Ratigliano. Sam, a kind of easygoing coach, and yet the players are so responsive.
Second down, 8. Cleo Miller.
They're setting those things up well.
Tom Henderson made
Henderson, what a stop.
Gain of a couple.
There's Art Modell.
I wonder where that hotline goes to.
I got to tell you something. He grew up with me in Brooklyn. He became successful.
Should have happened to more people, you know.
He went to New Utrecht High School, the green and white. I went to Hamilton, the scarlet and the gray. Both of our teams stank.
Sam Ratigliano went to Erasmus Hall.
That's right, the buff and blue. We love you.
Henderson play, 1-yard pickup, third down, 6. Cleveland playing it a little cautiously now. Hands off to Mike Pruitt. He's short of the first down, and they'll have to turn it over to Dallas with 11:55 and the clock moving.
First time in the game Cleveland played it cautiously. Frank, a good observation. But after watching Craig Morton hit 3 touchdowns in less than 3 minutes, I don't know if it's ever safe anymore. That's what Craig did yesterday when Denver came from so far behind. It was incredible to beat Seattle.
Sure, I'm proud of old Curly.
There's Wade Manning. I told you he did not play collegiate football at Ohio State. Was a center fielder on their baseball team. And a great one he was.
Got a scholarship to Ohio State as an engineering student. I like that sort of stuff.
Johnny Evans will punt for Cleveland. Long count again. Trying to dog Dallas offsides. And here is Manning. And down goes Manning at the 20. Randy Rich down there early for Cleveland. 41-yard punt, and Dallas is 80 yards away from a possible second score.
You gotta be kidding.
part of that tremendous crowd. And some of the defensive players for the Browns were kind of leading them on in cheers. I'd say that's rubbing it just a little.
I'd say that it really is. And they were doing all that hollering right over the ears of the Cowboys.
And they deserve it. They have played great football tonight. Dallas, they have really had their problems. They've created most of them. Saldi in motion on 1st and 10. Staubach. Screen to Saldi. And the former White Plains High School player gets a first down out to the 34-yard line. Tom Darden upsetting Saldi.
He's been a troubled young man, having felt he's not being used enough. I asked Gil Brandt, the super director of player personnel, there he is, out of South Carolina, today, how his mental attitude is. He said he's still troubled. But you always have that with a ball player who feels he's not being played enough. He can play, I'll tell you.
On 1st down, draw play, Scott Laidlaw. Laidlaw pounds out to the 40-yard line, a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Up into there by Jerry Shirk. Both of these teams coming in undefeated.
Remember, Robert Newhouse not playing tonight. Sore ankle. Played in spite of it against the Bears, but too much tonight.
Valuable time ticking away for Dallas. Staubach wanted to go deep, and Mike St. Clair was there defensively first for Cleveland.
Oh, boy.
Staubach, punt fake. Thought he had the time to get it off, and he was buried. St. Clair was there. Number 74, Gregory, was also there.
Gregory may be the happiest man in football. He's back. He's back where he belongs.
Originally a 9th-round draft pick of the Browns, 66, 4-year starter. Played out his option in 71, wasn't too happy then. Went to the Giants for a 1st-round draft pick, retired at the end of training camp. Deal was worked out. He's back where he began it all as an all-pro. Some 13 years ago. 3rd down now and 11. Staubach.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you, he's giving it a go.
He sure as heck is. He's out there giving the world. In a situation like this, I'm reminded of my friend Sisyphus. You remember Sisyphus rolling that stone up the mountain and let it come back down? They're definitely rolling it up the hill right now. He just couldn't find anybody out there. Pretty well covered.
Jerry Shirk missed him twice and finally got him.
I sure do like Rogers' attitude. You know that guy.
I sure do. Yeah,
Heck of a
exactly.
player.
But that man right there, Frank just said it. Once he missed it. Twice he missed it. The 3rd time he got it. You talk about pursuit. You talk about second effort. Jerry Shirk personified it.
Rogers sacked 3 times tonight. Danny White is on to punt. Keith Wright standing at his own 35-yard line. Danny punts a beauty. Fair catch called for by Keith Wright at the 33. And Cleveland now will begin to seriously work on the clock, which indicates 8:26 remaining in the game. Cleveland out on top, considerably so.
I just want to emphasize again, you'll see the man in that tremendous boxing card who many consider the greatest in the world, inch for inch and pound for pound, Roberto Duran. The Sugar Ray Leonard fight begins at 8 o'clock, so tune in at the top. Leonard against Benitez, December 1st. You'll see that one for the title on ABC.
On 1st down, Mike Pruitt gets the call, and again, Bob Brunig over there to make the stop defensively for Dallas.
In the 20-year history of the Cowboys, they've beaten the Cleveland Browns 6 times. Kind of surprised about that?
I mentioned it last week.
You did?
You weren't with us. Fran was, and I said,
6 times.
Dandy lost to them twice in the playoffs in the late 60s.
I can see right now that's one thing I miss by not being here every week.
It was 11 years ago I sat up here for CBS and watched you, Don, performing in your last regular season game here.
That's right. They've only played 1 game here since and won that one 6-2 in the mud.
2nd down 9. Ooh. And Aaron Kyle can't get to it. Dave Logan, intended receiver. Brian, looking downfield, saw that he was going to be covered, fired it deep.
Brought in Larry Bethea. They've got Larry Bethea in there this time. They changed up that defensive line. Got a whole new group. You got Bruce Thornton, who's a big rookie that's doing a pass job. You can see right there that that's the closest we've seen a defensive lineman all night.
All night. Thornton was great against the Bears in that late victory for the Cowboys. You saw a sign a moment ago. Say something good about Cleveland. We have been all night long. Respect for this team, and their performance tonight is really great.
3rd down 9. Draw play. Cleo Miller out over the 35 to the 36. Clock continuing to move inside 8 minutes. And I'll tell you, as they come off the field, names you maybe don't know too well. Tom DeLeon at center, Robert Jackson at one guard, Beeler from Oakland, remember him there?
Oh, yeah.
Left guard, Doug Deacon, Henry Shepard. They have performed admirably tonight for the Cleveland Browns, that offensive line.
That was a great trade Cleveland made for George Beeler, number 64. Together with Upshaw, they were two of the great guards of the league at Oakland, and Beeler is held together for Cleveland.
Steve Wilson is back on punts now for Dallas. Johnny Evans to punt. Off the side of his foot once again. Johnny Evans trying to hang on to the lead in the AFC in punting. I think he's going to lose it tonight. He's had a rough night. It goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Dallas comes onto the field with 6:46 remaining in the game and down 26-7.
Doesn't look good, does it? No, it does not for Dallas, but it looks good for that man, Sam Rutigliano.
What a nice man. Sam
went to Erasmus, as Frank said, where the high school cheer you'll remember vividly, Don. Vivo, 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 Vance, E-R-A-S-M-U-S.
No, believe it or not, I wasn't going to say that.
Now back. Drew Pearson. Pearson moves out to the 47-yard line. They're going to move it back where his progress was at the 47-yard line. Ron Bolton all over Drew Pearson. First down, Dallas.
The Bucs beat Montreal 5-2 in the first. They lead Montreal 6-2 in the 6th of the second. If they win it, they'll lead by a game and a half. Houston lost to Atlanta 5-4 in the first. They trail 8-0 in the second. In the 8th inning, they will be 2.5 behind Cincinnati if that obtains.
On first down, Staubach immediately to the air. Tony Hill, intended receiver. Staubach had to hurry it. He was pressured again by Jack Gregory.
And as time dwindles down in this game with 5:59 left, the Royals are still alive. They are leading California 3-0 in the third. They went into the game trailing by 3. So you're updated on the Major League pennant races. Baltimore, of course, has clinched. The Birds, who belong in Baltimore.
Second down, 10. Drew Pearson split right. Tony Hill to the left. Dorsett gets the draw play. And Mr. Excitement gets inside the 40. But he's been contained very well tonight by Cleveland.
Did you see Gregory, 81, trailing him, but not quite quick enough to get to him?
I did see that. I did.
Jack Gregory.
Dorsett picks up 8. It'll be 3rd down and 2. I got a feeling he's going to unload this one. Deep.
He ought to pick up his first.
He does. Tony Dorsett stacked up there by Mickey Sims.
That's
In the perspective of this game, Cleveland has had so many heroes. Frank has touched upon it appropriately throughout the evening. That whole offensive line that gave Sipes such great protection. The unsung linebackers who were all over the field. The Cleveland secondary led by Tom Darden's 2 interceptions. What a performance by a team.
Roger needs a big one. Looking for Drew Pearson. And Oliver Davis playing Drew Pearson very intelligently. He was going to give him anything underneath, nothing in the end zone.
One of the things that helped is they had him doubled on the inside that time, right, with Tom Darden, who came in there, so he really didn't have a shot to come back.
Saw a quick shot of Drew Pearson, who appeared to have been taken ill.
He sure did, and he's coming right out of that. That's a scene you may not see for a long time to come.
That's probably just as well.
Yes, quite right. And an evidence of the effort thrown into this contest.
Second down, 10. Staubach, Jerry Shirk. Fourth time he's been sacked tonight. Actually, there were two other Browns were in there. Mike St. Clair forced Roger to step up, and he ran right into Jerry Shirk. Gregory was also there.
A year ago, as Frank told you earlier, they thought Jerry Shirk was finished. What a night he's had tonight. Look at that.
And how about Gregory that time? Gregory just manhandled Pat Donovan, threw him back in. The pressure caused by Gregory caused that reserve blocker to come back and hit him. No one was there to pick up Shirk.
And you have to wonder all over again about Jack Gregory and the past years.
Third down, 16. Complete to Steve Wilson, and the rookie from Howard gets the first down inside the 25. Hit there by Tom Darden. 3:50 and the clock is moving on the scoreboard.
Darden, as you can see, irritated with himself. Felt he had to play red. Felt he should have had the football.
Good concentration by Wilson that time. The ball was a little bit high, and it's over the middle. He is a rookie. Hadn't been across the middle that many times yet.
He's earned his way on this team, Don. He can do a lot of things for them.
The Angels closing in on the Royals. It's now 3-2 Kansas City, the fourth inning.
Seconds ticking away for the Cowboys. Next Sunday, they'll be at home against Cincinnati. Cleveland travels to Houston.
I'm telling you.
Alley-oop.
He got you.
And Tom Darden could have had the third interception of the night.
I'd sit down and have a very serious conversation with my offensive line right now. Take a look at this.
Mickey Sims pressuring him again, Don.
Well, just take your pick, man. I mean, they're all coming in here. Shirk, as Sims. My gosh. I'd say, all right.
Clay Matthews, right there.
Hey, well, that's not a bad move again by the rookie Steve Wilson. They're just zipping in there. The thing, you know, the Cowboys obviously are going to be out of this ball game, but you've got to instill that offensive line. You can't let down. I don't care if you're going to stand back there and throw, by golly, you got to get up there and block. We'll have some talks about that. Don't you think?
I think Green Bay.
Second down, 10. I think the 30-second clock had expired. We could have another delay of game against the Cowboys, and they have had troubles tonight.
You know, the last time the Cowboys were shut out, they didn't score anything, was on a Monday night in 1970.
I remember it well. St. Louis, 38. Cowboys, love.
I knew you would remember it. I didn't know whether the folks out in television land would have known about that. And I'm going to get out there. And
I remember it because the crowd was screaming, "We won dandy. We won dandy."
Next time I have anything to say, I'm going to send you a telegram and let you read it over the air. You get me? Man, you have been tough all night. Wow. Pick it up anytime you want to, Frank.
You got to be quick. Second down, 15. The Lilgu procedure against the Cowboys. Roger going for Tony Hill, and he cannot hold on. Defensively, it was Clinton Burrell, a 6'2", 190-pound rookie out of LSU, who has really been performing well as the fifth man on the defense for Cleveland.
One of the wonderful luxuries of being this far ahead this late in the game is you can afford to double all those outside wide receivers and not worry about anything kind of coming up in the middle. You see two guys around most everybody, and it's just going to make it that much harder to complete a ball down there.
And the other luxury, if you're a defensive lineman, you can totally disregard the run.
That really is true. Maybe I was a little too harsh on the offensive line of the Cowboys because they know they're coming. Smell blood.
Third down, 15. Inside 3 minutes. Staubach going for Saldi. No chance. Saldi picked up and covered well by Clarence Scott, the strong safety for Cleveland.
So you're looking at a Dallas team that's about to lose its first game. But they are so skilled, so professional. They've been through it before. Remember last year, 4 losses in the relatively early season. And there they were, again in the Super Bowl. They lost on a Thursday night to Francis Tarkenton and the Vikes. They lost to the Miami Dolphins. This is a slow-starting team every year. Giff has always emphasized that. They didn't start slowly this year. They extricated themselves.
We'll see him again October the 14th against the Los Angeles Rams. That'll be on a Sunday night. 4th down for Dallas, 4th and 15. Rodgers.
Oh, nice catch.
Fires in there. Drew Pearson has the ball.
Good Lord, he's right back in.
He did not get the first down. He's a yard and a half short.
Does that show you a little courage, though, to get back and come back and go back across the middle again? My hat's off to you, Drew. Well, this one is over, folks. There's going to be some learning things out of that. Look at that Drew Pearson go for that ball. And that's the guy you saw that was sick a while ago and go off the field, come back down. There's some quality players out there. This Cleveland bunch has really put it together tonight. Drew, good job, fella.
He's really amazing. You talk about character.
There are a few empty seats, but not many, as the Cleveland Browns fans are savoring tonight's overwhelming victory over the Cowboys. And again, I remind you, the Cowboys with 3 turnovers on fumbles, a couple of interceptions, a couple of penalties at just the wrong time, a blocked field goal. It's hard to win when you do that.
What this will do in the NFC East, of course, it will fire up Philadelphia, and later this year we'll see the Eagles under the brilliant coaching of Dick Vermeil, as there's a timeout on the field, go against the Cowboys. And as we await the final 2.5 minutes of this game, we'll be right back.
It's been a festive night here in Cleveland Municipal Stadium in all respects. Flags, banners out, crowd of over 80,000. 58 times since Art Modell took over this franchise. In 61, they've gone over 80,000. Second down and 6. Calvin Hill picked up 4 yards on first down. He gets the control call again and pounds out to the 20, where it'll be 3rd down and 3. Bob Bruning should be at the bottom of that pile defensively for Dallas.
You know, Don, if this score holds, the Cowboys haven't been beaten by this many points since losing to the 49ers 31-10 late in 72.
I was just going to mention that.
Cowboys down to 1 timeout now.
Let's hope that Greg Pruitt's not hurt that badly, Frank. He's the guy that we mentioned earlier in this telecast, and we haven't seen him since he left the game with an injury. It was a knee. Was that what they were looking at? Good shot of Lyle Alzado.
Mount Rushmore.
Certainly did, with a beard.
You know, and you're so right, because Greg Pruitt is so much of Cleveland Browns offense. Brian Sipe having a big night, but you have to move that ball on the ground. And we understand that it'll be tomorrow before we have a full and complete diagnosis of the knee that Greg damaged in the first half.
Speaking of Mount Rushmore, you saw another shot.
That's right. The impassive coach, Tom Landry. What a great coach.
Taking the Cowboys into the playoffs every year but one since 1966. Been in 5 Super Bowls, won a couple of them. 3rd down, long 3 for Cleveland. 2:19, Dallas down to 1 timeout. Theo Miller, he'll outrun Bruning for the first down. And more. Out over the 45-yard line. Oh, boy.
How do you like the way Brian Cypher's run this ball club, Don?
I like the way Brian Cypher's been running this ball club. He has done a good job.
And we are going to get the 2-minute warning. The coaches being told the obvious, and we'll be returning in a moment. I'll tell you, there's no better feeling than playing in front of a sold-out home crowd and looking up there with the 2-minute warning, and you're looking at 26-7, and you're on top.
Let's say it's at least among the top 2 feelings.
Here's one of your big thrills. If you've been around a while, you know there's going to be other days, but you can sure savor this one. Cleveland is doing just that. On first down, Pat Moriarty, the rookie out of Georgia Tech, had a sparkling preseason for the Cleveland Browns. Gets the call, and he picks up 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
I don't know what will happen in this topsy-turvy league next week. There's Tom Henderson, and that half shrug spoke for itself.
And he said he'll be back.
By the way, has a bruised sternum. He was holding his left hand. We thought it was, but actually he has a bruised sternum.
Caught the heel when he made that tackle. That happens a lot. Kind of kick it up right in the chest. Sam's got to be happy.
Yes, he is, and you can read it.
Cleveland 7. Mike Pruitt tries to move to the outside, and D.D. Lewis makes another fine play.
I tell you, Cleveland has been incredible tonight. Sure, Dallas made those mistakes. We've emphasized that.
I want to thank our statistician, Jerry Klein, our spotter, Steve DeZica, and tell you once again, as always, the executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football is produced by Dennis Lewin, directed by Chet Forty. Our technical director, Bill Morris. Associate director, Rob Verne Carrick. Our unit manager is Irma Norris. Hope you've enjoyed the pretty pictures. Third down, 7. Pat Moriarty, the rookie from Georgia Tech, picks up a couple of yards.
Summarizing the Cleveland defense tonight: 3 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, 2 deflected passes, 4 sacks, minus 32 yards for Dallas, 1 blocked field goal. What a performance.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Why not?
Dallas called the timeout. I guess they're not leaving until tomorrow morning.
They want to work on their 4th down defense. This is 4th down coming up.
4th down and
rare
5.
opportunity to have, to do that. So when you have that opportunity, you do it.
I'll tell you, a lot of this crowd of 80,000 plus has hung around, and they're going to do a little banana act for you as soon as that gun goes off, and it's going to go off after the next play. Great turnout. And of course, Cleveland will remain undefeated, as are the Pittsburgh Steelers in their Central Division of the AFC. Tampa Bay undefeated. John McKay doing a super job down there. Well, he's got that club pulled together. Mike Pruitt gets what should be the last call of the ball game.
Well, I think it's 4th down.
And the clock will stop on the exchange of squats. So Dallas will have the one play.
Happy birthday, Mom! That's the way Cole found up. Hello!
All right, Greg, we'll say happy birthday to your mama, Maggie Pruitt, just for you.
I mentioned the undefeateds, and I certainly would not want to leave the Miami Dolphins out of there. Don Shula's turned that football team around, rebuilt it, reached back and got Larry Zonka running the ball again. We'll see them down the line on Monday nights. And Sam Rutigliano. Art Waddell says he's going to go down as a great head coach in his 2nd year of the Cleveland Browns. If he doesn't, he's also going to go down certainly as a great person. He is that. Staubach. Preston Pearson, he'll slither out of bounds, stopping the clock with 11 seconds at the 49-yard line. Oliver Davis over there for the pop for Cleveland.
With a heavy pop to the very end, Cleveland pouring it on.
Hey, remember, guys, there's another day. But enjoy it. There's Derek.
All right, Reggie.
That's right.
More guys from Brooklyn. There they are.
Oh, wow.
me. Ain't it wonderful?
Second down and 2. Oh, Drew Pearson. They indicate that he stepped out of bounds at the 42-yard line. 6 seconds remaining in the game. Ron Bolton up there to hit Drew Pearson.
Drew's giving him some words back in there. He said, look, fella, you know what the score is. You come over here pounding me a little bit, and there will be another day.
Another first down for Dallas. Again, we've already told you several times the frustration of the Cowboys tonight with their turnovers. A couple of fumbles, 3 fumbles to be exact, 2 interceptions, blocked field goal. Dodger, Preston Pearson. He won't get out of bounds on this one. It's all over. Sam Rutigliano. Interesting. Keith Wright dropped over to say hello to Tom. And there's Sam shaking hands.
What a classy guy, Tom Landry.
And so is old Sam.
Yep. And how about Brian Sipe? He got it all started with a big 20 points in the first quarter. All right, once again, the final score, Cleveland 26, Dallas 7. Be sure to join us next week for ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. The New England Patriots against the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field in colorful Green Bay, Wisconsin. Our blimp provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements made to and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United is building the largest airline in the world around you. This has been a presentation of the leader, ABC.